I just I it's 5 days later, and I'm still fucking incredulous. It's 5 days later, and I still don't even know what the hell happened here. This is something that we just got to talk it out. It's episode 57 of Two Guys, One Sport, the recap special where we're recapping literally not everything, but close to everything. And Brother George is here as well. I'm Chris. Brother George, welcome.
Hi, Chris. I finally got my hangover cured from all the various fruity beverages and copious amounts of whiskey I drank in Louisiana.
Very nice.
So
well done.
This is where I am. I don't want to use the word grateful, but this is where I am happy that I am a Roman Reigns atheist, agnostic. I neither hate nor love the guy.
Yeah.
So I can just sit there. I could just sit there in a dome with 70,000 people and just kind of just laugh. Because even when you're one of Vince's guys, that doesn't mean you're not immune to his general fuck-uppery.
Yeah.
You know?
We'll talk about that in just a minute. Also joining
we have a
us, special guest of the show, the good brother Mike. Welcome, good sir.
Hey now.
Good to have you on the show. Mike is a longtime friend of mine, and he knows a lot about the Graps. So Mike is here to break down this.
Thanks for spending a Friday
nonsense
with us.
No problem.
Mike and everyone else.
Yeah, and thank you guys for the patience with yesterday. Google Hangouts on Air decided that it just didn't want to let me have a call yesterday, and it took 12 hours. It took 12 hours for anyone on YouTube to ever get back to me and let me know what was going on. And they didn't actually let me know what was going on. They just said, "Have you tried doing this, this, and this that could be used to fix the problem?" And it was just whatever. I went in and it was working fine when I tested it later. So there's probably some problem on their end that they just didn't want to admit they were having. So whatever. Being that we have to recap basically everything, we don't even have time for matches of the week. We're just diving right in.
Let's talk about
we're going to start
Wrestlemania.
We're going to start with the bad and start with the bad and then move to the good.
I have a lot to say on this entire WrestleMania and the SmackDown and Raw following it. So this is going to be great.
Yeah, we're going to talk. We're going to talk.
Let's go. You boys talk. I will. You boys talk. I'll give my impressions from it. Matt, I was at WrestleMania. Yeah. You guys talk. I'll give my impressions from inside the building. I'll just kind of jump in.
Yeah,
sounds good.
So we'll start at the bottom. The opening match of the pre-show, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and my pick was right.
Place was packed. I walked in at 4:30, which was right when the Battle Royal was starting, and it was packed.
Wow.
Packed. Place was, I would say, 90% full at 4:30, and 100% full at 6 o'clock.
So I should say, I'm not to interrupt you, but I missed that because I had no fucking idea what time WrestleMania started at all. I kept on looking, and I was like, oh, it's just not there yet. I must have caught it right at the end when they were doing like interviews or something, and I must have got confused.
Yeah.
I do know what happened, but I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear at least that the building was packed and it wasn't like last year where Neville and Austin Aries were fighting for the Cruiserweight title in front of an empty crowd. Yeah. But the timing on this was not great. Like, I'm with you on that, Mike. Like, if I hadn't queued up the network ahead of time and checked the schedule, I wouldn't have even known what time the pre-show was starting.
What time did it start?
It started at 5 Eastern, 4 Central.
Oh, see, I thought it started at like 4:30 or 4 o'clock, and I was like, okay, it must start later. And then by 5 o'clock,
first match started in the building at 4:30 Eastern or 4:30 Central. Excuse me, 4:30 Central.
Yeah.
I think what happened was I forgot about it after it did start at 4 o'clock. It got to be 5 o'clock. I was playing Diablo, and then 6 o'clock, and I'm like, oh yeah, WrestleMania is going on.
Yeah, you started up right in time for the main card to start or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my pick was right for the Andre. Matt Hardy won, last eliminating Baron Corbin with the help of the newfound disciple Bray Wyatt. I knew that this was what they were going to do. I knew it. Like
they have been teasing it like forever.
I mean,
Yes.
Hey, whatever. Crowd was hot for it.
the funniest part about it for me is that like they're quote unquote rebooting Bray to be, the erstwhile disciple of Matt Hardy, but it's still the same fucking Bray Wyatt. There's no difference.
He's still wearing the same. He's still wearing the same gear.
Yeah.
There's nothing different about this guy.
Still,
we'll get into it much later, but I gotta say, Bray Wyatt is on my list of like top 5 people they have misused completely.
Yeah,
and I think I've finally been fed up with it.
it's
yeah. Chris and I have been driving the Bray Wyatt bandwagon off a train.
Oh yeah,
we've been driving it off a cliff.
Yeah,
he just get off my television, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, like at least his brother has some kind of cool gimmick going on, and it looks like he's gonna betray the Miz at some point. I hope. I actually like Bo Dallas. I think Bo Dallas is actually a pretty good talent. The problem is his character's
garbage.
Let me try to think of a strong word.
Completely.
It would probably make their dad. I have to assume that IRS doesn't watch wrestling anymore because I'm sorry. He's still alive, right?
Yes.
Okay. I have to assume he doesn't watch anymore and had no fucking idea what Bo Dallas's character was. Because I'm pretty sure that he would have slapped his son in the face for not arguing more about that character.
Yeah.
I did not believe in the Bo Dallas character from the day I saw it.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
I believe
it's funny as hell when you look at the list of NXT champions, and Bo Dallas sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
It's like which one of these is not like the others?
Bo Dallas and Big E.
He was the champion for like a year or two, right?
He was. It was close to a year. Neville dethroned him.
It was multiple takeovers. He was the champion, or whatever it was. Maybe even the pre-takeover era.
Yeah, it was the pre-takeover era. But
I'm so happy I didn't watch NXT.
Yeah, they were taking over from him being champion.
Yeah, but yeah, like he and Big E are the only homegrown talents from like the FCW PC group to have been NXT champions, and he's the only one who has since then gone on to be utterly and completely worthless in every way.
Yeah, whatever. He's a lower card jobber. He's fine in his role.
Yeah, he gets the job done.
He gets the job
literally.
Very true.
Next match.
Yeah. This is gonna lead nowhere. I mean, the Andre the Trophy never leads anywhere for anybody.
Yeah.
In terms of singles talent, I mean,
didn't Baron Corbin win last year? Was that who won?
Yeah, no, Mojo won last year. Corbin won 2 years ago.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And look at what happened to Mojo Rawley has not been talked about since.
I mean, he betrayed Zack Ryder, he turned heel, and then he hasn't done anything since. So.
And then Baron Corbin got the Ryback treatment. That's what I call people who get the big push. You think they're going to get pushed, and then it's like, oh, some bullshit happens. Fucking K-Quick and R-Truth and Miz just come in out of nowhere to screw it up. I feel bad too because I think Baron Corbin's also a really good talent that they just misuse, which seems to be a common theme in Vince's day now for the last 5-6 years.
I think he has a limited ceiling, and from what I can see, but he could have a better role. He could have a better role, but he screwed his own pooch with the whole CTE thing. Contradicting the whoever the doctor is.
That's true.
That's his own damn fault. Next up, Cruiserweight Championship match between Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali.
I got what I wanted, Chris. All I wanted was a good match and no heel turn. And I got it. I'm happy.
An excellent match, no heel turn, and these two guys tore their house down. I mean, Cedric, I still
crowd was into it in the building.
Yeah, I still am of the belief.
TV, but the crowd was
I called the tail end of it,
especially
and I was
after the 450 that led to the rope break.
Yeah,
the crowd was absolutely hot for the rest of it.
Yeah, I mean, I still maintain that Mustafa should have won it, but if
I'm okay with Cedric.
As long as he gets his down the line, it'll end fine. Cedric is definitely a worthy champion just as much. And the next couple of months are shaping up to be very interesting on 205 Live with the especially with the push that Buddy Murphy's getting.
I'm curious to see how they book the show when they don't have the crutch of a tournament going forward. How they book a regular wrestling show instead of a wrestling show that is occupied by a tournament.
Right. Well, I mean, they've managed to do good stuff with the non-tournament segments. The whole feud going on between Lucha House Party and Tozawa and Itami is actually really fun to watch. I'm really enjoying it. And Buddy Murphy, surprisingly, very enthralling talent to watch. Actually, showing some interesting character elements.
Exactly, I like him.
Yeah, he's got some potential there. Definitely more than he had as an NXT Tag Team Champion as the Dubstep Cowboys with fucking Wesley Blake. That's what they were called. They were called the Dubstep Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
the Dubstep Boys.
I've had a really bad day, but that actually made me laugh.
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't an official name, but that wasn't the official name, but that was like the fan dub.
So true, though.
It is.
Oh, shit.
Next up. Yeah.
Eat your heart out, Skrillex.
Yeah.
Right.
Next up, we had the women's battle royal. Naomi won by last eliminating Bayley, even though.
Did anyone care about that at all, George?
Not till the end.
Yeah, the crowd sounded so
Not till the end.
dead during the whole thing.
They popped. They had to be coaxed into the NXT chant, and that lasted for about 5 seconds, and they didn't care about anything else.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy who won because Naomi's, besides Charlotte, personally my favorite of the women roster right now. Her and Asuka. But that whole match was just terrible.
I was hyped for the NXT debuts. I mean, even if it was only really one actual debut among the 5 of them.
I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, but Chris, you know what I'm talking about when we used to call the Great Khali paper legs and the man knowed for only 3 moves and things like that. I know that there was that new Indian woman wrestler who was trained by him. Yeah.
Kavita Devi, yeah.
I'm horrible with names, so I'm never going to remember.
That's all right.
Now, Khali was the man with the 3-move plan. I'm not saying that she lived up to his teachings, but she only did 1 move before she was eliminated.
Yeah. Well, she's very raw. I don't know if she'll be able to if they'll be able to get more.
I think she's more SmackDown than Raw.
I'm
sorry. No, I'm fucking not sorry.
As fuck.
No, I'm not sorry.
I walked right into that one.
If you're gonna hang the curveball, I'm fucking smacking that son of a bitch right into the 4th row.
Yes, you are. Well done. Yeah, I wouldn't have put Kavita Devi in there personally among the 4 the NXT women who they were going to put out there, but
they pushed the NXT thing way too hard too, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like the whole 2 to 3 minutes.
The only thing the crowd cared about.
It would have been.
No, that's true.
Were you watching this match start to finish? I got a question for you.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Were there commercials or something?
Yeah, there was. There was actually one legit commercial.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it during Bayley's entrance? Because they played her music for like 5 minutes.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, there were actually 2 commercials. Now that I think about it, it was one during the entrances, and that was Bayley's entrance, and then there was after they started the NXT chant, then they had another commercial.
Oh, you're right, they did.
Yeah, and then you came back, and it was
during Bayley's entrance. Her entrance was a long ass time.
Yeah, because they gotta get their shit in with the advertisements for the network.
Well, I mean,
that's the first time I've ever seen a pay-per-view actually do a legitimate commercial during a match. For me, first time. I've personally never seen it. I mean, they
only did it during the pre-show though. They only did it during the pre-show.
No. But I've never seen any pay-per-view do something like that ever.
Well, I think the reason why is because they also are now broadcasting the WrestleMania pre-shows on USA, so they probably had to deal with a TV commercial in there.
I did not know that. I haven't watched actual television in like 4 years. So.
Yeah,
you're not missing much.
You could tell actually if during the Andre and during the Cruiserweight title match, there were 2 moments, one during each match, where Cole had or whoever the announcing team had a really long pause and then went back to talking, and you could tell that's where they go to a TV commercial.
Before we go forward.
Oh wait, let me tell you real quick where I was sitting, so you have a frame of reference. Okay, so you are standing at the big ass Mardi Gras mask, looking at the ring.
Yeah,
okay?
Sure.
You're making your entrance. The ring is 12 o'clock.
yes,
I am 2 o'clock.
okay,
About 200 feet from that corner of the ring. So there are three types of seats. There are the regular stadium seats that the stadium uses for football games.
right,
And then you go down past those and you run into these artificial bleachers, which are folding chairs on top of these built-in bleachers.
okay.
And then you run into the floor seats that are on the floor. I am on the second group, the built-in bleacher seats.
Okay.
So I was on an actual bleacher, but I was on a folding chair. I would say, as the crow flies, they were good seats. I paid a lot of money for them, and I'm only telling you that not to brag. I don't really give a fuck, but I'm only telling you that I was only about 200 feet from the ring, and I spent the entire time watching the monitors.
Yeah.
Do not go to a WrestleMania unless you have great seats and expect to see anything that you won't see from the comfort of your own couch.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad I went. I had a lot of fun in New Orleans. Cool place. Ate like shit. Drank even more. Walked the quarter, Bourbon Street. Hung out with some great people. Had a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun at Ring of Honor. Had a lot of fun at WWN. Had a lot of fun at WrestleMania. I didn't actually see a whole lot of WrestleMania unless I was watching the monitors, though. Yeah. So keep that in mind. If you want to go because it's an experience, then go. But don't actually expect to see anything unless you have unbelievable seats.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
That's why we're not going next year. We are
and it'll be cold next year too.
We're watching from the comfort of my apartment.
I still would like to go to the NXT show if we could.
Oh yeah, we absolutely are going to NXT and plenty of other indie shows. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, so wait. What I was going to ask was, what happened to Bayley's fall from grace?
She's bad.
I'm
happened.
Confused now.
She's dead in the water. She should have turned heel.
But she was always not great in my opinion. Why all of a sudden now?
She's more great in front of 300 diehards at Full Sail than she is in front of 10,000 people.
Yeah.
She's not. Chris and I have talked about Chris and I have talked about how that they don't book NXT to be like the main roster and that they do not prepare their performers to make the main roster. That's why you don't
recently spoke about that too.
You don't see 20-minute promos in NXT, even though you see them on every Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
Bayley was not given.
Part of that, though, is also because they only get 1 hour a week, whereas the main roster has 5. So that does make a difference. But you know, you are right. I've turned the corner on that whole. I'm still not sure that they should book NXT differently, but I've definitely come to the agreement consensus with you that NXT is not designed to prepare their performers for the main roster. But
NXT is designed to prepare one performer for the main roster, and it's Triple H. No, it is, because sooner or later, Vince is going to shuffle off this mortal coil.
Can't happen soon enough.
And when he does, the shareholders are going to be in a panic, and their only hope of preventing a mass sell-off of their stock is they say, this guy has been preparing for this role. Look at what he does in NXT.
Yeah.
NXT is there to prepare one guy for the main roster. It's not Andrade Almas. It's not Johnny Gargano. It's not Bayley or Finn Balor or Shinsuke Nakamura or War Machine or Ricochet or anyone else. It's fucking Paul Levesque.
Yeah.
NXT is training for him.
His name was Levesque.
NXT is training.
You can pronounce it any number of different ways, so I don't know what the correct one is.
I've never heard anyone pronounce it Levesque, so I was confused for a second. But
Levesque is what it is. Levesque is what he says it is on the conference call. So.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I have to agree with George because it really does seem, and evidently it's a good job that Triple H is doing because he looks as terrible as Vince is. So clearly he's doing exactly what Vince wants.
Yeah.
You remember when I told you, Chris, 2 or 3 years ago, was my theory was Vince, before he dies, needs to ruin WWE as much as possible so that no one can one-up him after he goes?
Yeah.
Doesn't it seem like I'm still predicting that correctly?
It seems like at the time I thought it might be a little far-fetched, but it definitely seems like it could be a possibility because he is that egomaniacal and he is that narcissistic. But
don't tell Roman Reigns it'll be another conspiracy theory he talks about.
Oh God. We'll get to that. We'll get.
Oh, this is so terrible.
Anyway, Anyway.
Yeah, I have thoughts. I have thoughts.
I have many thoughts.
Let's move on, though. So, yeah, Naomi won the Women's Battle Royal. It's not going to lead anywhere, but,
Now we move on to the show.
To be fair, the show started off really well. This first match.
What was the first? Oh, the IC title was great.
The IC title match. Seth Rollins defeated The Miz and Finn Balor.
Did you guys get Seth Rollins' I don't watch Game of Thrones. What the fuck are those things called?
The contact lenses? The White Walker contact lenses.
Yeah, no, on the screen. Did you get the shot of the blue Iceman on the screen?
No, we only saw the contact lenses.
He had contact lenses?
Yes, he had in contact lenses that made his eyes look like he was a White Walker.
I missed that.
Okay, so on the screen, so the Mardi Gras mask changed colors depending on what was on the screen.
Yeah.
And it was a shot of what looked like the White Walkers, or the fuck they're called.
Yeah.
Except for the 1 second it was burn it down, and then it was all fire background. It was kind of a cool entrance.
Oh, I must have missed that.
Yeah. But I mean,
the Mardi Gras mask changed, and the video was a picture of what looked like a knockoff of the White Walkers. And then when Seth yells "burn it down," it turned to fire for that 1 second.
I probably caught it at that point. That's why.
And the crowd yelled "burn it down," so it's working. Chris, what do I talk about? The only thing crowds pop for: entrances and big moves.
And then finishers. Yeah.
So,
back in the day, it wasn't like that.
No, back in the day, they cared for matches. But
God, I miss the Attitude Era.
No, I don't miss the Attitude Era, but I miss the times when people could, when they could write stories that would make people care about matches.
I've been saying this for a long time. WWE to me died after about 2003. It was right. So for me, when I first started watching, it was like 96, and I was watching WCW more because I thought the NWO was awesome. And then
you're like me, okay.
Yeah, and then I started watching the Raw after the Montreal Screwjob happened. That was the first Raw I started watching religiously. The first pay-per-view I ever saw was a WrestleMania where I got it for free. I'll never forget this. Seeing The Undertaker hanging the Big Boss fan, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? This is bullshit.
From the cell.
Then you move into The Rock versus Austin, and it's one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time. I'm like, okay, this is awesome. That's cool. And then, the thing was about the Attitude Era. Okay, yeah, I was about 8 or 9 years old. Technically, my parents shouldn't have let me watch it, but I wasn't a dumb kid. I knew don't practice wrestling moves on kids, and you shouldn't say fucking shit in school and talk about, sluts and all that things. But letting the wrestlers do that shit was amazing. Making it like a more adult show was great, because then you also had wrestlers who didn't come out and do the Ric Flair Hulk Hogan syndrome where every single match is the exact same goddamn thing. It wasn't, it wasn't just like do the same 6 or 7 moves over and over. Like if you go back and you watch a Mankind match or even a Diesel match, when Kevin Nash was Diesel, you will see that people actually did multiple things. They did multiple submissions, multiple technical moves, multiple different finishers. Nowadays, it's literally just almost everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, almost everybody on the roster does the same exact routine every match, no matter who it is. It's very boring, it's very annoying, and I hate the fact that Vince knows that we'll still watch every week anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. After 2003, 2004 started and Goldberg came in. That was the whole thing that started the whole Brock Lesnar Goldberg syndrome, where you just want a bunch of fucking squash matches, right? That was the whole thing. And then the Rock turning heel thing wasn't very funny, although the Hurricane thing was enjoyable. And the tag team division got worse. The IC division got worse. The Divas back then division was just horrible talent.
And we got a lot of Triple H.
Oh yeah, and then Triple H. It was nothing but Triple H, Randy Orton, Batista, and Ric Flair. Nothing but them.
Lot of evolution.
A lot of evolution. I like the song.
Motorhead.
Rest in peace, Lemmy. But I stopped watching. I really did. I got so fucking bored. When I've never been so happy to see Randy Orton become a face too. When Triple H betrayed him that night, because I was like, yes, something different.
And then it lasted for like a month.
And then we got John Cena getting stabbed by Carlito's cousin. And I was
I remember that.
I was like, why? What is this?
Wrestling has never not ceased to be observed.
I have never, I understand that wrestling is a scripted thing, and I have never let it make me want to get violent with people, except for when Michael Cole was doing the read from the computer thing.
Oh, never get the email and the lights would flicker. The email controlled the lights.
I will never, ever forgive Michael Cole.
Chris, were you around for this?
No, but I have seen it. I've seen clips of it.
Oh my god.
The mystery GM, yeah.
The lights would flicker.
Yeah.
And you would hear the thing. It was so terrible.
That was some
it was ridiculousness. After 2003, when Brock stopped actually doing classic matches, that was when WWE died for me. I still watch, but that was when WWE died. And I'm sorry, I'm sorry to say, I've recently come back, even though Roman Reigns was one of the reasons.
Run. Don't come back. Run. Flee. Save yourself.
I probably should.
I will stand there on the bridge and hold the horde at bay and give my life while you run behind and get reinforcements.
WWE needs Vince to relinquish his champion spot.
It's never going to happen until he dies, which is why
it's never going to happen because if he does, the shareholders will run screaming away.
We need him to do that, and then we need Gabriel's trumpet to just shout from the heavens and have just a completely random person that isn't Triple H or Stephanie run the company.
Run.
In my opinion.
Save yourself, man.
Oh yeah, run.
Too late for me.
Back anyway.
Too late for me. It's too late for Chris.
Yeah.
But save yourself, man. Get out.
No, it's too late.
New Japan. You'll thank me later.
Oh, I did. And that Chris Jericho match with Kenny Omega was one of the greatest I've seen in the past 2 years.
Oh, that's like the 15th best match they've done in 2 years.
I know. That's how much I watched.
That might be the 15th best match they've done this in 2018 calendar year.
Chris and I are going to introduce you to this tall, handsome guy named Kazuchika Okada. You'll like him.
I don't know who that is, but I am intrigued.
We'll take care of that.
I've only recently got into New Japan wrestling, so
Chris,
make fun of me all you want.
It's good. It's good, man. You'd be better late than never. Let's move on, though.
The nice thing is, in all honesty, there's so much. We say this all the time. There's so much wrestling out there that you'll find something you like, whatever it is. So
WWE's not one of it though anymore.
Yeah, whatever it is,
Sure.
So
yeah.
And the nice thing about WWE is that you can hate it, but there's certain guys and ladies that you're in on. So,
yeah, that is true. Yeah, you can hate the overall product, but still root for your favorites.
Yep.
But one of the problems that we can discuss it later. But one of the problems are people, in my opinion, like Ryback, who leave the company and then just go around week after week bitching on every different podcast who will have them.
Yeah, but they lose relevance pretty quickly. That's why you don't even hear a damn thing about Ryback anymore, because he's like, there's maybe like 3 people left that still care what he has to say.
Yeah, he doesn't.
3? Wow, that's 3 way too many.
Yeah, well,
All right. Anyway, what were we talking about?
IC title match. Seth Rollins defeated The Miz and Finn Balor.
I like the end of this match a lot.
Yeah.
Well, the ending was beautiful.
The curb stomp on the other guy.
Yes.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Not to do that anymore.
No, they brought it back recently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good, because it actually looks really cool. At least he's not doing the pedigree.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm sorry. Triple H will always do the best pedigree. Seth, don't do the pedigree. You can't do it.
And pedigree in and of itself is a pretty shitty looking move anyway, but
I disagree with that, but
I'm with you. Pedigree's great. Seth Rollins' pedigree not so great.
Yeah. Oh god, I could do a better pedigree than that, and I can't even jump nearly as high in the air.
Yeah.
So, you know what though? I've talked about this in the past. It's good to have. Seth is 100% healthy. He is 100% healthy, and I'm so happy that he's back.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that, and I say this every time, and I feel like fucking Charlie Brown getting ready to kick the football, and Lucy pulls the football.
Pulls the leg again.
God willing, we'll get some damn mid-card matches, U.S. Intercontinental Championship opportunities, open challenge on Raw and or SmackDown. I don't ask for much,
I personally really love the rivalry between Miz, Finn, and Seth. I think the 3 of them have great chemistry together. Personally, I really do.
I enjoyed this match. Crowd liked
great.
it. Crowd liked it a lot.
Let me just say, Miz surprisingly was not a net neutral. He actually contributed positively to the match, and thankfully we didn't have a freaking Miz Taraj run-in. So all in all,
how about babyface Miz the entire match?
Sure.
Miz was like the ultimate babyface this match. He sent his lackeys to the back. He didn't cheat. He didn't like grab the tights. He was just wrestling a match.
I mean, that's the end of Bo Dallas's career, right? Like he's not down there, and everybody cheers instead.
No, him and Curtis Axel are legacies. They'll be there until the fucking until the moss is growing on their graves.
Yep.
I gotta say, when I was a kid, I loved watching Mr. Perfect. The whole spit the gum and smack it thing, I could never do it. I don't know how I did it.
How about the towel?
And the towel was great. But the thing is, like, Kurt Hennig was a big brolic guy. Whether or not he was taking steroids, I don't know back then. But he had talent. He could put on a show. His son proves that just because your parents are great at wrestling does not make you naturally good.
Yeah.
Randy Orton got lucky.
No,
the fact that Randy Orton is so good just happened.
And you ready for this segue? The next match proved that sometimes the apple does fall from the tree.
Oh, that's very true.
Sometimes the children of wrestlers are also decent wrestlers, good wrestlers in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
This Charlotte's entrance, the first part of it, came off so awesome in the building.
Yeah.
The juxtaposition to Triple H in the same building, only she has Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss, whereas he had Charlotte and Sasha
and Alexa
as his lackeys. She had them as her lackeys, and the gold and the old school flair. It came off so awesome in the building. How did it come off on TV? I'm curious.
It worked on TV very well too.
Oh, it was amazing.
It looked unbelievable in the building.
Yeah, very well.
Charlotte is exactly what China could have been if the women's division was taken more seriously back then, in my opinion.
Oh, Charlotte's 50 times the worker China is, though.
Yeah,
that's very true. But back then, there was no like women's division like it is today. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. But I think
one last crowd reaction. The air was not at all sucked out of the building when Asuka tapped. People were into it. People were cheering. People weren't like, "Oh my God," hands on their heads. Like the images you see, like when Brock beat Taker.
Yeah,
and then,
none of that. None of that at all. People were into it and cheered.
Was the crowd? The crowd was never dead throughout the entire match.
No, the crowd was never dead until the Daniel Bryan match.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that. We'll
get to that.
The crowd was unbelievable through the entire match.
What about
cheering, clapping?
What about at the end when Asuka congratulated? I mean, that was kind of
the problem with that, and I'm sure this looked like shit on TV. People started cheering when John Cena started running to the back.
Yeah, that was dumb as hell.
Like the timing was all off. The timing was weird there.
So, like all of a sudden you hear a buzz.
That came
all of a sudden you hear a buzz, and then John Cena starts running.
Yeah, that came off really badly. It's like, we had this great historic women's moment, but nope, we have to concentrate on what's going on with John fucking Cena because we can't let the women have their big moment.
Well, I can imagine Vince in the back like, wait a minute, these two women are having a great match. Everybody loves it. We must signal the Undertaker.
One thing I loved in this match, and I love this match. I went 4 1/4, Chris. And I loved this match. Loved it.
Uh-huh.
One thing that I loved, and you know where this is going because you know me. Charlotte's got the figure 8. But her fucking arm is failing her. So she bridges the one arm with the other arm.
See, I was not.
I thought that was going to be. I thought that was going to be the end. I thought she was going to lose the hold because she couldn't hold it up.
Well, that was what I was expecting they were going to do, and that I think. And this was my thing. Like, I love the match too. I still am not sure I agree with the results, especially given what happened 2 nights later.
Oh no, that was a disaster. But I am just saying, I was okay with the result on Sunday night. I am much less okay with the result on Tuesday night.
Like I feel like having Charlotte be the one to break Asuka's streak, given Charlotte's track record of, first it was she's the daughter of Ric Flair, she cheats to win all of her matches, and she cheated to win at Mania 2 years ago. And then it was the freaking undefeated pay-per-view streak. And then she kind of fell off a little bit.
Some random show in like July.
And it ended on Fastlane. The Fastlane before Mania last year. when Bayley beat her for the title, and like, and then she kind of fell from grace a little bit, but then it just came right back up to her being the only relevant woman in the SmackDown Women's division. It was like when she won the title on SmackDown. Until now, she was the only relevant woman in the SmackDown Women's division.
Let's play hypothetical, boys. Let's play hypothetical. Okay. Imagine if 2 days after beating the Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania, Brock gets beaten down by Fandango and Tyler Breeze and then pinned by Bo Dallas.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what happened on Tuesday.
My bias in favor of the Iconics is not allow them to be compared to Breeze and Fandango, but I can see where you're going with that.
They get beaten down by the Revival.
Oh, wait. No, I got it.
Okay. Imagine if Brock gets beaten down by the Revival and then pinned by Bo Dallas.
Yeah, that would suck.
Not even Bo Dallas. Imagine he gets pinned by, like, Michael Cole. That's how bad that was.
The absolute
best
part about that is
Carmella brings more to the table than friggin' Michael Cole does. I can tell you that.
The absolute best part about that is that the crowd popped because they got the title change and then stopped because they realized it was Carmella.
Mm-hmm.
They popped for the title change and then they were like, "Oh wait, this person actually sucks."
Yeah.
So I was okay. I was okay with Asuka losing on Sunday night. And then because,
there was an interview that Charlotte recently did where
I'm much less okay with it now because the rub, as it was, lasted for 48 hours.
Yeah. See, for me, it's like I look back at this and it's like all signs pointed to them keeping the streak intact until next year when Asuka would face Ronda, and I was okay with that because it's like. You haven't had a genuine unstoppable monster in WWE who's actually present for the show. That's why I'm not counting Brock in this. You haven't had a genuine unstoppable monster in WWE for such a long time that it would be an interesting change of pace. And especially for it to be somebody who actually is genuinely just overpoweringly good and can just take down every opponent, not through, cheating or wiles or anything, because Asuka's only had to do that once. But for someone who could just be the unstoppable force, and over and over again, just completely overwhelm our opponents and win every time. I was really interested in seeing that happen because we haven't had a title reign like that where it's happened on pay-per-view except in NXT.
It's pretty clear. It's pretty clear that it's going to be Charlotte and Ronda at next year's Mania.
Yeah, and that's part of the issue for me is just continuing the. Everybody complains about Roman Reigns getting the, Vince's guy treatment and being booked, unstoppably powerful. No. Charlotte's the one who gets the Vince's girl treatment and is being booked as unstoppably powerful because it's 3 freaking years now of Charlotte just being the one to always have the moment in the spotlight, no matter what. Whether it was beating Sasha every time on pay-per-view for the title, or winning the triple threat match at Mania, or every single thing is it has never stopped for her. She's always been at the forefront, and it just never ends.
I think it's safe to say, first of all, it's gonna be Charlotte Ronda because they're gonna want to do press and shit, and they would rather have Charlotte than Asuka do press. And
that's another thing that I was upset about. It's like, oh yeah, you want Charlotte because Charlotte can go on the Today Show. Okay, so fucking what? How many people
care
who watch
about that though?
Well, yeah, but how many people who watch the Today Show actually?
Oh, I agree. I agree. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Their optics are fucking awful.
You're 100% right that the crossover appeal is minimal. You're not wrong, but they love that shit. They love that shit, and they have forever. And you're not wrong, and I'm not saying they're right, but they love it. So that's what they're going to go with.
Yeah.
Like I'm with you. And I love Charlotte. I love Charlotte. And I have for a while.
I enjoy Charlotte, but I'm
on
Charlotte.
My problem with this is yes, she's going to Raw. And you know what? Here's the thing. My point isn't that the cash-in made Charlotte look weak because she got the shit kicked out of her by 2 people for 15 minutes. But the point is, having someone beat that long of an undefeated streak should theoretically be used to give someone all the momentum in the world. You don't have that someone get the heat on that person right away because then that momentum is gone.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if Brock Lesnar lost the Tuesday after beating the Undertaker streak.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's absurd. Charlotte's great. I love her. Charlotte Ronda would be great. I would slow burn the shit out of this. They're not going to because, I wouldn't trust these guys to get a blowjob right at this point. But we can hope,
Yeah.
So,
like, I
match
just
came out
feel
great in
like,
the building, though. Great.
I feel like it's a lot of smoke and mirrors because, like, Charlotte is great when she's working with someone else who is great. Name for me a good match that Charlotte had with Natalya or Alexa or or Carmella or somebody who's not on that upper echelon of in-ring workers. I think that's where a little bit of the exposure comes out, that Charlotte really can't adjust herself to match the talent of her opponent a lot of the time. But that is what it is.
May I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes.
There's an interview that Charlotte did. So I think a few months ago, or maybe earlier than that, where they asked her about the after making the main roster, the part that she was going to play, and Vince's idea was, let's have you do a thing with Ric Flair. She hated it. She hated it because, first of all, her and her father have nothing in common, when she pointed out. Second of all, she didn't want to do the whole she cheats to win every match thing. So it was her call that Ric Flair wasn't on TV anymore. Thank Christ for that. I know Chris was happy about that. After Chris wished so much pain on Ric Flair, but
it was rough having to deal with him there every freaking week. So him getting kicked off TV for that was,
But you're right when you say Roman Reigns is known and said for being shoved down our throats, and Charlotte is no different whatsoever. I like Charlotte. I think she's a great in-ring performer. I think she carries a match really well, even when she's facing lower-level talent like Carmella, Natalya, and etc. I think the problem is that her way of doing matches and the way they're booking her, she only pairs well with certain people. And I think the other problem with that is they looked at her facing Sasha, for example, and saw it as, let's just do a bunch of things that women have never done before. And unfortunately, Sasha and Charlotte were the only ones that anyone wanted to see at that time. SmackDown didn't really have anybody except for
Becky.
Becky, and there was somebody else that I'm not remembering. Becky and Naomi when she was still coming up.
Yeah.
They didn't handle Becky well either.
No,
I
God.
was waiting so long for a Becky versus Charlotte match at a WrestleMania or a huge event. It never happened. Instead, we get Becky screaming in the women's battle royal some random nonsense that I could literally give a shit less about. Oh, she was screaming about how the color orange is hers, and
orange is my color. Yeah, that just is is emblematic of how awful it's been a year for Becky, because she hasn't had a singles feud in over a year.
Yeah, that was the problem, is once Charlotte got there, that was all anyone in WWE cared about. Their point was the women's division on Raw is great with Nia Jax and Alexa,
and Sasha and Bayley and everybody
Sasha
else.
and Bayley, and even Buff Chick is just starting to actually seem credible in the ring now, and you had some other NXT people coming up. On SmackDown, you had nobody. After Naomi winning, that was it. It was just, all right, let's just move Charlotte up as much as fucking possible. That was all it was. And it's a real shame to me, because I think that the women on SmackDown, especially Becky Lynch, was owed more than that. I hadn't been so... I mean, Chris, I hadn't been so excited to watch a women's wrestling match since I first saw Becky on SmackDown. I thought that she was great. I thought that she knew how to do submissions well. She knew how to do high-flying moves well. She was great in every way. But they ruined it because they just didn't feel like using her for some fucking reason. Maybe it's because Charlotte is 5'10", Maybe it's because Charlotte is
Ric Flair's daughter.
Ric Flair's daughter.
I love their legacies.
Much influence, but yeah, the whole legacy thing needs to go away. The fact that she's actually a good in-ring performer just, is what it is. So that's the whole thing. But as far as her beating the streak, I have to guess that with Ronda Rousey coming in, how long was she signed for? Is it a 2-year deal or a 3-year deal, something like that?
It's like a 1 year. I think it's so far it's only a 1-year deal, but like the terms on it are apparently not very.
They're not set in stone.
They're not very clear because initially what everybody was saying was that it was a 1-year deal for 5 matches, but now she's going to be working a little bit more than that. It seems.
Well, Matt, my point is that after Naomi's reign, it was just all Charlotte. After Naomi's reign, it was all Charlotte. They didn't book Naomi well at all. You're right. They didn't book her well at all. But as far as I was fine. I accepted that.
How long has Charlotte had the belt? Since before Survivor Series, right?
Yeah.
Since SummerSlam, I think.
Possibly even before that. I don't recall. She won it from Natalia, I think, at Night of Champions. It was either Night of Champions or SummerSlam.
She wrestled Alexa at Survivor Series.
Yeah, she wrestled
as the champion versus champion. So it was before then.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I accepted. I think what they're doing, and this was my theory, was since they have Ronda now, and Ronda has the big MMA background and can actually talk on the fucking mic, unlike Lesnar, they're probably going to branch out and do every talk show that they possibly can with her versus Charlotte. And the problem is, unfortunately, Asuka's English is not good enough to do that. And as sad as that is, and as stupid as that is, that's probably what's going to happen. If anything, I wouldn't be surprised if they send Asuka to Raw next week after all this, although it would be a crime because I would love to see Becky versus Asuka.
Well, she was on Raw initially anyway, so it would be just sending her back.
Right. Well, but that's my point. Like, instead of keeping her on SmackDown with the streak and everything, they sent her back. Now, I accepted that she lost. After Tuesday, somebody needs to. There are people.
Yeah, that's exactly where I am.
Yeah,
that's exactly where I am. So
yeah, you accept it. You understand that there are certain things set in motion here a year in advance, and then it's just like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And it's probably a matter of like, oh, that's right. Everybody forgot Carmella has a thing. Let's just get that over with, so we don't have to deal with her ever again.
Yeah.
What was the next match?
Yeah, we got to move it along because we're taking way too long on this.
I'm sorry. I think it was the 4-way match with
the next was the U.S. title 4-way match, which was
it was an 8-minute SmackDown match.
But the funniest part about it for me, this should have been the moment where everybody kind of realized, oh God, this show is really not going to go well. Out of the 4 possible options, and granted, all 4 of them were terrible options. Out of the 4 possible options, they went with the absolute worst one in Jinder Mahal. The absolute worst one.
Jinder pinning the only guy who was over.
The roided up Jinder Mahal that's easily
Jinder pinning the only guy. It was this fucking SmackDown TV match. It was what, 8 minutes?
It was 8 minutes and 15 seconds. Yep.
I remember seeing Randy come out. I looked away. I look up and like, wait, it's over.
Yeah, it was whatever.
It's literally
all like Rusev. Crowd pop for the RKO. That was
going
pretty
back
much it.
Wait, is that confirmed?
Pretty much it.
Wait, who? What?
Is Charlotte going back to Raw? Is that confirmed? True.
We'll find out. Monday.
Where did you hear that?
There's somebody saying in the chat.
I said she's
why
going
else
to Raw.
would they take it?
I said she's going to Raw. That's why she dropped the title.
Yeah, I think she's taking.
Why would they send her back to Raw for?
Have you seen how this company books?
Yes, but what the hell are you sending her back to Raw for?
It doesn't have to make sense.
Because Raw is the A show.
Let Nia Jax have her run. Oh my God.
Nope, that's never going to happen. But anyway,
can we move on from this match?
Let's blitz through these. Let's blitz through these boys.
Mixed tag. Angle Rousey versus H.
This
McMahon.
match fucking ruled.
This match.
Let me tell you about this match in the building. Okay. 70,000 people stood on their feet, and 70,000 pairs of eyes were looking at Ronda Rousey. Mm-hmm. Every single thing she did, the crowd was into. When she was pacing back and forth on the apron, people were cheering. When she gets tagged in and she pulls Steph in by the hair, people were cheering. When she's trash-talking, people were cheering. When she's going after Triple H and he's turtling like a little bitch, people were cheering. Ronda Rousey is an absolute goddamn star. And 100% People talk, is Roman Reigns the guy? Is Roman Reigns not the guy? Is Bryan Danielson the guy? Is AJ Styles the guy? Ronda's the guy. Could not have gone any better. This match was awesome. I love this match. I'm so happy I was in the building for this match. This match made my show.
I think that this match...
Awesome match.
This was a great match. I think it went too long, but other than that, I think it was a great match.
Didn't drag in the building. They loved this match. 70,000 pairs of eyes spent the 20 minutes looking at Ronda Rousey.
I think that once they had about the 13 or 14 minute mark, once they'd done literally everything that they could do with Angle stopping Steph and Ronda attacking H and Steph, being the thorn in Ronda's side and Angle having to be the face in peril for H and all this. They did literally every iteration of these performers interacting that they could do. And once I got to that point and there was still more time left in the match, that's when I was like, okay, all right, come on, let's go, come on. We've done everything there is to do here. Come on.
My absolute favorite part of this was her judo roll through and deadlift of Triple H.
Yes, that was awesome.
That reminded me of Shawn Michaels doing the kip up in his first match back in 2002. Because everyone was like, how good is this guy? We don't know. We haven't seen him in a while. He's got a bad back. And he does the kip up, and everyone's like, holy shit. Shawn Michaels is so much better than we all thought he was. And that was the moment for me. Is like, holy shit. Ronda Rousey's got it. And yes, the match was rehearsed to hell. And yes, she was in there with Triple H, who was a phenom. As the last surviving member of the Triple H fan club, I am fucking rounding the bases, Chris.
Yeah.
My guy was awesome in this match.
The only one left.
I'm the last dude on the island.
You're probably heading home real soon in the next couple of years. I got to tell you. He
was really damn good in this match, and he gave a shitload to her. And
I really thought that this match, I got to be honest, I thought that this match was going to suck. I thought it was just going to be typical, predictable bullshit, and I thought that Stephanie was going to pin Ronda just to make her do the whole, hey, look, Vince, my father can do the whole, Vince McMahon is...
The only thing about this match that bordered on the absurd was Stephanie McMahon's Gracie-like armbar defense.
Yeah, that was insane.
That was pretty good.
That was mitigated by her tapping out in a quarter second. Once the actual was locked in. So
I gotta say too that Triple H, he really put Ronda over. He did everything he could to put Ronda over.
I also find a good job. Ronda Rousey was a better puncher than 90% of the roster.
Yeah, that's pretty sad too. But
especially Shane McMahon. Shane, that's how you punch in wrestling. Not whatever the fuck bullshit you're doing in there.
Oh God!
We'll
get to that.
I am driving the Ronda bandwagon. There's plenty of good seats.
No, I look forward to seeing what she can do. Except
I'm all in. I'm all in on her ass. I'm putting every single chip in the middle of the table.
I gotta say, I love Joan Jett. I really do, but I hate that song. I've always had. She really needs to not come out to that song anymore.
It's kind of a heel song. She's not a heel, but kind of a heel song.
It's kind of a heel song. I was thinking to myself that you're coming out to a song that's like you don't give a damn about your reputation, but you clearly do because that's the face side of you.
Yeah, it's not a. I also like the potential gimmick of her being all smiles and the bell rings and she's there to kill you.
Oh yeah,
I like a lot.
I love how she smiles and then she just.
How did this come across on TV, boys?
Oh, it was great. It was
great. Again, like I said, for me personally, it went a little long, but people were definitely into it. My buddies here.
I thoroughly
for this match.
I gotta say, Chris, I thoroughly enjoyed that match from start to finish. I gotta say, I've never given it up to the cameraman. The cameraman did really good work. They knew when exactly to pan to Kurt Angle and pan back to Ronda.
Yeah, but that's probably because it wasn't Kevin Dunn directing the camera, so it's probably Vince himself directing the camera.
Ronda pacing back and forth on the apron, waiting for the tag, and then coming in 3 steps and then dragging Steph over the rope by her hair was the loudest pop of the night by far.
Oh, yeah.
By the way,
that 5-second sequence of her just pacing back and forth and holding the rope, because she's well-trained, always hold the rope, and then the tag, and then dragging Steph, flipping her ass over the ropes, and doing like that weird judo flip roll thing that she did, and like she's the guy. I'm in. You've sold me. Like I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I was wrong. I'll learn the loss. I thought this was going to just be 9-minute disaster. This match, I put 4 with a question mark because I don't know how to rank. Because this was not technically a great match.
No,
but it was a great WrestleMania. But it was a great WrestleMania match.
It's better than anything The Rock has done. God damn it!
It was a great WrestleMania match. It was a hell of a spectacle, and I am very happy that I was in the building for this. This made the rest of the bullshit surrounding the rest of the show worthwhile. Being able to watch this.
I should say I'm not trying to interrupt you. I keep thinking you're going to stop talking.
No, you're good.
Keep talking.
I'm done. I'm good. I've been podcasting for 3.5 hours, man. I'm running on coffee, man. So interrupt away.
I got you. No, I was just going to say to Brock Lesnar. I know he's never going to hear this, but the way that Ronda Rousey did the shuffling, like I don't know who's a good example. Muhammad Ali. The foot shuffling, Brock. That's how you do it. You don't do it the stupid little bullshit. I'm a monster type of way. I hate it. I hate it since he did it.
All her little shit, she's already got the footwork, the presence, the how to count her steps, like because she's an athlete.
The Muhammad Ali stepping that she does, the second she did that, the crowd just popped.
Her pacing back and forth with a look of quiet determination, waiting for that hot tag is that's like 10 years in wrestling shit.
And they teased it just enough too. They really did. They teased it just enough.
This debut could not have gone better. It was absolute home run. Yeah, but we all know Kurt Angle's old and broken down. Whatever. Well, it wasn't about Kurt Angle. All right, Chris.
Yeah. Next,
you got any more? Any thoughts?
This is where the night died.
We've said everything we need to say here, but after this, it's definitely all downhill.
This was the highlight of the. So what's after
the return? The return of the saving grace.
No.
What?
Next up, we had the triple threat tag team match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. So the Bludgeon Brothers beat
that shit.
The Bludgeon Brothers beat the Usos in the New Day in 6 minutes.
The rest of the arena, along with the rest of the arena, went to go take a piss. So
I didn't watch that. I will say that I am a fan.
Why were there little people wearing pancake suits?
That's because New Day is officially jumped shark.
I thought it was like Blink-182 influenced them from the 2000 MTV Music Awards, and I was like,
"What is with the pancake gimmick?"
I don't know.
I was so confused by it the first time I saw it. I was like, "Why the fuck do you have pancakes?"
I don't even know.
Where did that come from?
I'm calling it now though. New Day has officially jumped the shark in terms of like what they're doing.
You're right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I think the
little people were, no pun intended, a little much. Like, okay.
Yeah,
it's WrestleMania. What the hell are we doing here?
They should have just came out.
If you were watching that with a non-fan, you're embarrassed.
Yes,
you're embarrassed.
It wasn't like Dragon Ball Z.
You're embarrassed to be a wrestling fan, and if you're at a party with non-fans and they're looking at you like, "Hey, explain the pancakes."
Imagine this. You're sitting there with like 3 of your friends. They've never watched wrestling before. You're like, WrestleMania is going to be awesome. Let's do this. And then they see the New Day come out with the pancake people, and you're like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, I don't know.
I am not showing this match.
This is not the first match I would ever show somebody.
I mean, the match itself, you could tell it was a 6-minute match. They didn't give them any time to do anything because they knew that they were in a fucking cooldown spot. It was rushed as shit, and the Bludgeon Brothers won. And
I'm a fan of the Bludgeon Brothers.
It's a travesty that these guys didn't get more time because, like I said before, all 3 teams are great, and I would have loved to see them do more.
What? I always thought you hated the New Day.
No, I turned the corner on the New Day at Mania 32 when they came out in the cereal box with the Dragon Ball.
Oh, that was your turn.
Oh yeah,
that was the turning point there. I was like, all right, screw it, I'm in.
I'll never forget that.
That was the turning point moment there.
They were a good host last year,
honestly. But even without that, though, like the past year that has gone on between the Usos and the New Day, that would have been enough to get me to turn the corner on.
Our comments are lasting longer than that match.
They've been like this feud between the Usos and the New Day has been amazing. The addition of the Bludgeon Brothers hasn't subtracted from it in any way. I think it's
I'm all in on the Bludgeon
still
Brothers.
Great.
I'm all in.
But you know the title change and them only getting a 6-minute match really sucked a lot. Especially considering the fact that the next fucking segment went on for 20 minutes, but it was only a 3-minute match. Where Taker defeated Cena.
Oh, the Taker defeated Cena
in 3 minutes. But it was 20 minutes of bullshit.
I will say the Elias thing made me laugh. I'm a fan of Elias. I am. I think it's funny. I wish he still did
that. He's the building.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Elias is a master of getting heat. He's done an excellent job of that. You know, he does a great job. But overall, the whole thing did not need.
Well, yeah. I'm just gonna point it out though. Everybody got what they wanted, right? John Cena faced the Undertaker. Everybody wanted it for years. That's it. You got it. Let's not talk about it again.
Yeah, except you know what's going to happen now is the next year.
Yeah, he's going to next year, and Undertaker's going to lose for a third time because, well, he's already lost twice. Who gives a shit at this point?
No. It's not going to be a rematch, but people are going to be clamoring for another Undertaker match next year.
It'll be career versus career next year.
Or whatever it is, next year's match is not going to like. I'm convinced that Taker probably downed an entire bottle of Percocet before he went out there for this match because there's no fucking way that he did half the shit that he did unless he was doped as hell.
He looks less sick than Triple H does. Like than that.
Yeah, well, Triple H is also, steroids.
Dude, Triple H looks ill.
Yeah.
He really does. He looks ill.
Yeah. Well, when you're roided to shit like he is, getting ready for the WrestleMania match,
he just looks sick.
At the age, at the tender young age of 48 years old, when you're roiding that much, of course you're going to look like shit. Taker didn't
48 now? God damn.
Taker at 53, hopped up on Percocet is of course going to look better than Triple H at 48, roided out of his mind.
Listen, I will always be an Undertaker fan. If it wasn't for the Undertaker, I probably would not be watching wrestling today. And even I have to say, it's time.
It was time last year.
It was time after he
lost to Brock. It really was.
Yes.
And especially after he lost to Roman. Like, that's the thing that really pisses me off the most about this, is that they did the whole thing of, his gear back in the middle or in the callback.
It's my yard now.
And then it disappeared. And
nice yard, Roman.
It's like, no, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that, like, they just basically undid everything that they did with Roman, and just, a further slap in the face of the fact that, they wanted. It's clear that Taker wanted to have that be his retirement match, and they were like, "Nope, can't have that because he's still got to face John Cena and do whatever the fuck else they want him to do." And it's just fucking ended already.
I'm sure.
Give it up.
I'm sure that the giant paycheck didn't help persuade him.
And Mark getting paid three times.
And are cutting paychecks to John Cena or to the Undertaker for him to show up at yet another WrestleMania match at the age of 53. And meanwhile, most of their performers are, having to pay their own way on the road, pay for their own medical and shit. And it's just like, whatever, guys, your priorities are fucking out of whack. It's clear WWE's priorities are in the fucking toilet. And it just really irritates me.
I think that the Undertaker match is just one last thing is literally the epitome of what's wrong with WWE booking right now, because from what I understand, I mean, George can tell better, but like after Elias came out, the crowd died. It was just like, can we please just get this fucking over with?
Undertaker they were not.
Everybody's cheering, and it only lasted for like 3 minutes, and they were all cheering because it's like, yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. Like, can we fucking move on now?
All people wanted was the entrance.
Yeah, that's all anyone gave a shit about.
That's all they wanted.
It should have just been a freaking stare down. They should have just had a stare down and like a handshake or something. It shouldn't have been.
It should have just been John Cena lays down. That's it. That's all it should have been.
I will say I did like that it only took one tombstone.
Yeah.
I also like the fact it didn't take 30 minutes for Undertaker to walk down that long ass ramp.
It felt like it.
Hopped up on Percocet like that.
It felt like it. Oh.
Let the good times roll.
Anyway.
Good times have rolled already, Mark Calloway. The good times have rolled.
And it only got worse from there because next up we had Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Okay, let me give the real quick.
Oh God.
Let me give the real quick crowd reaction. The very last thing the crowd cheered for at full volume was Daniel Bryan's entrance. That was the last bit of reserves in the gas tank.
Yep.
Then they did the bullshit. Then they did the bullshit stretcher spot.
The callback to WrestleMania 30 is like.
I hate the stretcher spot, Chris.
Yeah, the callback to WrestleMania 30 was beyond unnecessary.
And then we got to watch Shane for 15 minutes selling his stomach. and missing punches. And the crowd never came back.
Yep.
That was it. That was the end of the crowd. Pour out a 40 for the crowd. That was it. Sky Point, the crowd never came back after Shane McMahon and his boxing.
So let's look at this from the broad observation here. So when Daniel Bryan was told he couldn't wrestle anymore, the WWE universe said, that sucks. We want him back. And that was how long ago? I don't even remember anymore. Was it 3 years ago?
It was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, February of 2016.
All right. The fans, myself included, because I like Daniel Bryan, have been begging for him to wrestle again for 2 fucking years straight. Finally, they tease it. That was the big WrestleMania thing. It wasn't the Brock versus Roman match, clearly. It wasn't the Asuka versus Charlotte match on the card. It was the Daniel Bryan match. Everybody wanted to see Daniel Bryan come back, and then they hit him with a chair. And then for the next 15 minutes, it's just Shane versus
and the crowd wanted nothing to do with that shit.
Yeah. Even when Daniel Bryan started wrestling, you could hear the crowd just didn't give a fuck anymore. They you literally.
Oh, I mean, how
just fucking died.
How much more transparent could they have made it, though? I mean, it was very clear. As soon as that moment happened, all they cared about at that moment was, give the crowd as little of what they want as we can possibly, do without losing face.
I understand, kind of, and I heard this on another podcast, and I kind of agreed. I understand what they were possibly going for. It was, all right, let's have Daniel Bryan get injured and then have this big fucking epic comeback into the ring. Listen, WWE, I gotta tell you, it didn't work years ago. It ain't gonna, especially it's not gonna work now. Between all the bullshit gimmicks from Brock and Roman and the Charlotte thing, and then the fucking Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn needing a job, which that's the stupidest fucking thing to make a WrestleMania match out of I've ever heard. Just between every gimmick that they have done for the past 5 years, I'm pretty sure that broke the camel's back right there. I have never seen a WrestleMania die so quickly in an instant in my life.
Turned on a dime. Yeah. And
I have watched every WrestleMania since 2001. Never have I heard a crowd literally just give up.
And that's exactly what happened in the building, my friend. You're not wrong.
Match
was whatever.
Daniel Bryan was good.
I'll put it this way. Daniel Bryan's portion of the match was really fun to watch, and I'm glad to see him back and in form. Too bad it was only friggin' 5 minutes or less than 5 minutes out of a 15-minute match.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt you, but let me just point this out. For the first time ever, no one gave a shit about the coast-to-coast thing that Shane does. No one gave a shit for the first time.
Also true. Good observation.
Even I didn't give a shit. I was just like, can we just get Daniel in the ring and get this fucking over with? Please?
Yeah, like I said, the callback, it was a fucking blatant as hell callback to WrestleMania 30 with the stretcher job.
WrestleMania 30.
They love the stretcher shit, Chris.
The stretcher job.
They love the stretcher shit.
Leaping into the ring to break up a pinfall or submission or whatever it was, coming in out of nowhere. That's exactly what he did at WrestleMania 30. After they put him through
apparently it sucked back then because I don't remember it.
Orton and Batista put him through the table.
That's when Orton nearly killed himself on that monitor.
Yeah, and Orton got fucked up on the monitor that was under the table that nobody remembered.
Nobody knew about.
And then they did the stretcher job for whatever it was, 10 minutes, however long it fucking took to get him onto the gurney and wheeled around the ring. And then he started showing signs of life and trying to fight his way off the stretcher. Got back into the ring and broke up a pinfall that Batista was trying to put on Orton or whatever.
And none of this was Shane's fault. Shane did what he had to do.
No. Shane's garbage. That's Shane's fault. Yes. Shane is a garbage wrestler.
What I'm saying is the whole match was not Shane's fault.
No, but the fact that he sucks ass is his fault.
Well, the fact that he's not very fun to watch unless he's up against The Undertaker or he's jumping off the cell, which was entertaining. He's not good. I besides the coast to coast thing, I never liked Shane wrestling.
Yeah, no,
he's boring. He does the same
crap. And you put him in there with Sami Zayn, who's been doing good work, and Kevin Owens, Mr. Phoned It In for 2.5 fucking years.
Yeah,
Yeah. So Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon sucked the life out of this match in a horrible way.
You ready for this segue? Speaking of guys who phone it in, we had AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura.
No. Before that, we had 10 minutes of Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss.
No. We had 10 minutes of people screaming at each other like high school people.
Chris, roll the tape back. What did I say last week? I said if this match was longer than 1 minute, it would not be very good.
You were 100% correct, my friend.
I will say that I loved her beating the ever-loving shit out of Mickie James before the match.
Yes.
You don't see that very often. That was cool.
Yes.
That I liked.
It was a poorly executed match, and it's a minor fucking miracle that they got the end result right.
The two of them have no chemistry.
God.
The two of them have no chemistry.
Yeah, which is surprising considering that the two of them are best friends outside of the ring. So they have no chemistry.
Neither one of them is what you'd call a ring general, though.
Yeah, neither one of them is very good in the ring. So the fact that they're best friends outside of the ring really wouldn't have done very much for them anyway.
Wait a minute, George, you said they had chemistry in the ring, or they don't?
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
Oh, they don't. Okay, yeah, they just don't.
The crowd was into the ending.
Yes.
And the second rope Samoan drop, and the crowd was into Mickie James getting the shit kicked out of her.
I hate James.
The crowd was not at all into the heat portion of this match.
You know, it's funny. Like one of the worst things that ever happened was when Mickie James came in, because then the whole she's trying to seduce Trish Stratus was a storyline that I just couldn't stomach back then. Because it was awesome. Like,
I think I was 21 and didn't know any better.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was young and I always had a fantasy of them. You know, that's not the point. The point is that whole storyline was complete horse shit. And Mickie James, I'm sorry. I don't like her wrestling. I just don't. When she went to TNA, I thought she was terrible. When she came back, I thought she was even more terrible. She's just not fun to watch. And she has no mic skills at all. Also, I don't know if anybody remembers, but the storyline of everyone making fun of Nia Jax for being fat was a thing that they did to Mickie James back when Layla.
Oh, yeah. Lay cool, baby.
Yeah.
Lay cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a shitty storyline to book, but again, minor miracle that they got their end result right, because Lord knows
I'm just glad nobody broke anything important.
Yeah,
like a bone.
Yeah, thank goodness that they didn't fucking put Alexa over yet again.
I'm happy Nia won.
Yes, I'm happy Nia won. Which again, the fact that either of us is saying that is a goddamn miracle in and of itself. But they got the result right, and the follow up the next night with her and Ember squashing Alexa and Mickie, that was pretty freaking cool too.
Ember's debut was great. I gotta say,
great debut.
Ember is going to be a really, really good Raw women's wrestler, and I mean that in that the 6-minute Raw women's match she's gonna own. She's the 6-minute tag that they have on every Raw. She will own that, because all they do is have tag matches on Raw pretty much. The women match. She's gonna.
That's on SmackDown too, but
Yeah. Not just Raw. You're right. But the 6-minute tag, she's gonna dominate that. She'll be really good at that.
Yes.
So, God bless. Hey, make that paper, girl.
Yes.
I'm just gonna say I was a fan of Nia winning. Chris, you know this. I've wanted Nia to have the belt for I don't know how long.
Yeah.
I was very happy to see her win.
I am not a Nia Jax fan, but I was a fan of her winning this match.
Yeah.
And I was a fan of that second rope Samoan drop. That was fun.
Yeah, the second rope Samoan drop was absolutely
good stuff.
was great.
Oh, it was great.
Zed's got it right there. Yeah, that was a good spot.
It was. And Alexa flopping all over the ring, that was cool too.
Yeah.
Alexa's she could teach Dolph Ziggler how to actually sell moves.
Yeah. She does a good job of that, although the temper tantrum spot
that needs to stop happening.
Yeah, that needs to cut it. It didn't work with Christian. It never worked with Christian.
Yeah.
It's not going to work now.
All right.
But anyway,
now we had what George was alluding to there. The under-delivery of the century, AJ Styles defeating Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship.
They set the bar very, very high. Let's talk about this match. Was strange in that it went 20 minutes, and yet I think they ended it early, but a lot of the shit in the middle was kind of useless.
Oh, yeah.
There was
a lot of crap.
There was no, and I understood, I got it at the end, There was no great finisher kick-out sequence. You know, the Styles Clash should be kick-out number 1 of 30 in AJ Cena. You know, I get it because it seems like this is the first match in a storyline as opposed to the last.
Yeah.
But if you know that, if you are building this as the first match in a storyline, then don't come at me with the whole build being this is a dream match.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to give AJ Nakamura a slight pass on this one, as it seems like this was the start of a feud, and they may have been told to hold back for the later stuff.
Assuming it's the start of a feud.
I mean,
I enjoyed this match in a vacuum.
The low blow, I think, is a pretty clear indication that this is going to be
Nakamura's gimmick of being a troll and hitting people in the dick.
Multiple times.
Multiple times hitting guys in the sack. I am a fan of.
You know what I didn't understand was the Shinsuke Nakamura entrance was awesome. You know, having the guitarist from Alice Cooper and everything was great and whatnot. But then AJ's was generic.
Yeah.
Like AJ was just like, okay, he had some pyro, and they don't really do pyro anymore, so it's special. That's not that great.
It's because there's nothing really to latch onto with AJ's character that they can create as a special.
Well, that's true.
Interest. That's true. It's just, you know, he's AJ Styles. He's the phenomenal one.
AJ's gimmick.
There's nothing to like. There's nothing to quantify as.
You can make him do the Rey Mysterio jump up from under the
AJ's gimmick. AJ's gimmick right now is Kenny Omega's gimmick. I have good matches.
Yeah.
That's AJ's gimmick. And that's Kenny Omega's gimmick too. Kenny Omega's gimmick is I have good matches.
Not going to bring that up. Well, there are a couple
AJ's is more or less the same.
Mm-hmm. AJ's just naturally talented for wrestling. He just is.
Absolutely.
He's just naturally talented.
I am excited for heel Nakamura because
it's a change of pace.
It's a change of pace. Him screaming in Japanese while beating the shit out of AJ was good. His facial expressions were great, and then the next night with like the absolute patronizing promo he cut with Renee, was like the good stuff. Winking and be like, "I am so sorry."
The winking
like, that was great. Yeah, then
I don't speak English.
Renee's just selling it too.
Being a dick and adopting the super exaggerated, no speaking English like accent, like
English really fucking well too.
Nakamura's gimmick before this was, I have a cool entrance and I like to gyrate. Whereas now it's a lot closer to the Nakamura that I fell in love with 3-4 years ago.
Where he just beats the living shit out of anybody in his
way. Or he just knees people in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Like,
because that's what Chaos was. And Chaos was Chaos, people forget a lot because of, you know, what's going on with Okada now, but Chaos was originally a heel faction.
Yes.
And for a very long time they were the heels until Bullet Club came along.
Yes.
So, you know, this getting back to the roots of, you know, of what Nakamura was when he first came up in New Japan as being a big deal is cool for someone who has that context. If you don't have that context, it's probably going to be a little jarring. But, you know, they didn't bother to give us context for the entire build of this, so why would they start now?
a good face versus heel feud will always be better than a face versus face or a heel versus heel feud.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
So,
I can agree with that. Depending on the people,
I'm willing to see what happens in the next month or so as they build to an inevitable Nakamura AJ rematch.
I personally was not a big fan of the heel turn. That being said,
the crowd was not into this match.
Yeah,
they kept waiting for. I'll finish real quick. They kept waiting for something to happen, and then the finish was cool, but that was basically it.
See, I was personally not a big fan of the finish because I don't like Nakamura becoming a heel. I think that's going to be awesome. My problem was I wish that they didn't wait to do it at WrestleMania. I think it ruined the ending. Personally.
You think it would have been better on like the go home show?
Yeah. Okay, I think it would have been better. I think it would have been better if not that they shaked hands or hug. They don't need to do that, but like it would have been better if Nakamura did what Asuka did and then Nakamura turns on him on the go home show. I think that would have been better. Personally, that's just
sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. AJ winning was fine. Nakamura turning heel, fine. Just the ending was not my cup of tea.
I think I went 3.5 for this match. The crowd was Didn't care.
I was underwhelmed as hell.
Is that out of 5 or out of 10?
Out of 5. Out of 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 3.5. Like, okay.
I don't even remember what I gave it, but I was underwhelmed as hell. It was
good. It wasn't great. It was like the 20th best match I saw this weekend.
Yeah.
Like, but then,
maybe. I saw Hangman Page have a better match than AJ Styles this weekend. That should tell you all you need to know about this fucking weekend.
Oh, well, we definitely have the best match of the night coming up next, right?
I'm not giving this any, I'm not even giving this any sarcasm here. This was dumb as fuck.
Crowd loved it.
I loved it. The crowd loved it, and the crowd wants to do something different.
I'm sure. I can only imagine. As Braun was walking around, I said to the guy sitting next to me, "How terrible is Michael Cole right now?" I can only imagine he was ungodly bad.
Yeah, it was unbearable.
And no way Jose was there too. And I have to believe that they specifically put him there.
My dream. Minoru Suzuki was in the building. My dream was that the camera panned to him for a quarter second and Braun just walked right past him. I would have died.
That would have been amazing, yeah.
That would have been great.
Instead it was No Way Jose. No Way Jose was the known face that the camera had.
All these Japanese guys came to see Nakamura AJ.
But dude, Nicholas was great.
Nicholas is John Cone's son, FYI.
I'm sorry, I don't know who that
John Cone is one of the referees. He's the referee with the short black hair.
Yeah, the crowd loved it.
I thought that he was a Make-A-Wish kid that they were like.
No. That's John Cone's son.
The crowd liked it. Whatever.
I thought the kid was funny.
The kid shaking the rope was hilarious.
The kid was good the next night when they surrendered the titles, but honestly, this just felt like a cheap way to get the title off the bar and also not have to deal with Braun being an unstoppable force as the solo holder of the tag titles.
For the love of God.
If you were worried about that, why did you book this?
Yeah, exactly.
For the love of God, can we please, at some point in the next year, I don't care when, put the goddamn belt on Braun. It's been long enough.
It'll happen eventually, but
it's not happening fast enough.
Yeah, he'll stay over.
All right. Yeah, whatever. Let's
Oh God!
Let's talk about the main event.
Oh yeah, let's talk about the main event.
Okay. No. Both of you. No. Both of you.
Oh yes.
No. Both of you. Silence. 5 minutes.
All right, Chris has the floor.
Yeah. Betrayal. This was a fucking betrayal of not only Roman Reigns fans, but the entirety of the WWE universe in general. This was a betrayal of the highest, most unforgivable order, because you cannot give us a storyline for 6 weeks of Roman Reigns saying that full-time guys are more valuable than part-time guys, and then fucking have the part-time guy go over in a match where not only was it horribly worked by the two guys who are normally great, but the guy who was the part-timer was a fucking reckless, dangerous animal. That was not supposed to be that way, and Brock was not safe. That was a terrible, terrible match by Brock. And I don't care if it was because he was mad that he had to re-sign and have them go over in Saudi Arabia instead. I don't care if he was just didn't give a shit because he just wants to focus on the UFC and therefore isn't going to put his effort into WWE matches. I don't give a shit. Brock should not have been working that match if he was going to be that way. That was fucking garbage. For Roman Reigns to have to endure shoot elbows to the head and get his head split open, fucking Crimson Mask, fuck that garbage. I don't care if it was a callback to the SummerSlam match designed to make Brock look dangerous. Fucking pull that shit off my TV. That was stupid as hell. And on top of that, if you want to talk about, double standards of booking, to have the guy who you want to be the top guy in the company and then fucking pull the rug out from under him for the second fucking time. Everybody goes on, Roman Reigns is main evented 4 WrestleManias in a row. He must be Vince's top guy. Let's not forget here. 2 of those WrestleMania main events he lost and took the pin in to guys that he shouldn't be taking the pin to in either case, in either storyline. And the other 2 main events were against guys who shouldn't even been stepping into a WWE ring in the first place because they're too fucking old to be in the main event of WrestleMania. They're too fucking old to be in the ring in the first place. Never mind the main event of a WrestleMania. Roman Reigns has been booked like shit for this entire run as the supposed top guy, and I'm fucking sick and tired of people giving it all this fucking vilifying treatment. He deserves better than this. Joanna White deserves better than this. Joanna White does not deserve to go into a fucking ring and get elbows to the head and bleed out in the fucking ring like that. That was garbage. And then to have him go out the next night and deliver a late WCW Vince Russo bottom of the fucking garbage disposal promo where he's talking about conspiracies against him. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? And how much more transparent could you make it that Vince just wanted to have the title switch happen in front of a crowd that was going to be more receptive to it? Bullshit. You knew, Vince McMahon, you knew going into this that this crowd was not going to be into the main event. Why did you fucking piss your pants again and pull back and decide to reverse the decision at the last fucking minute? That was garbage because you knew that this crowd was going to shit on it anyway. Why the fuck didn't you stay the course and have your top guy actually be a top guy and be worthwhile? Because you should have seen for the 6 weeks building up in this feud that the live crowds at Raw were actually getting into it. The live crowds were actually receptive to Roman's promos. The live crowds were receptive to the brawls. The live crowds were into it. You should have known that your WrestleMania was going to be populated 90% by smarks who were going to shit on it regardless of the result, and you should have just stayed the course. Why the fuck would you put your title switch in front of a crowd in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia that's paid to be there, that is controlled by state-run media and doesn't give a shit about the WWE in the first place because they're not allowed to watch Raw and SmackDown on a weekly basis anyway? Why the fuck would you put your title switch there rather than having it be on your biggest match of the fucking year? This was a betrayal, and Vince McMahon needs to be fucking out of the company because this was not acceptable. Anywhere fucking else, this kind of decision-making would be vilified and would result in somebody losing their goddamn job. But not in Vince McMahon's world, no. It's Vince McMahon's world. We're just living in it. Well, I'm fucking sick and tired of living in it, and I want to fucking burn it down. This is garbage. This was bullshit, and I am done. I am done. No main roster WWE for me until this bullshit ends. Until I see Brock out of there and I see Roman actually being booked like a reasonable top guy. Because if you want him to be your top guy, book him like a fucking top guy. Don't give me this half-ass wishy-washy bullshit of you're only going to make him a top guy as long as the crowd responds in the way that you want him to. That's garbage. You can't fucking do that because you can't control the crowd. Why, in the name of God, did you not have Roman go out the very next night and say, well, screw all of you guys because you didn't believe in me. You've been booing me. You've been against me from day one, and I'm done trying to give you my best. Why didn't you have a heel turn there instead of having it be a fucking promo about conspiracies? Really? That's what you want to go out there and put out there instead of actually bothering to write quality fucking wrestling storylines? I'm done. I'm over it. No more WWE main roster for me until this shit is over. I will still watch NXT, but if my friend who I use, I use his network subscription to watch NXT. If he decides not to renew his network subscription, I'm not signing up for one just to watch NXT. I'm not buying any WWE merch. I'm not going to any WWE shows. Fuck that shit because I'm not paying an old fucking out of touch bullshit owner to continue to jerk me around and jerk around a legion of fans who have been undyingly, endlessly loyal to this guy despite being pulled through the fucking mud for 5 years now. This is crap, and I'm over.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can anybody give me a storyline, kayfabe reason why Roman Reigns deserves a rematch in Saudi Arabia?
Nope.
Did I miss something? I did not
understand that.
I did not watch all of Monday Night Raw.
The only thing that I can think of as a possible reason would be
just storyline.
Yeah, if you wanted to be a just storyline reason, you would have had Roman go out there and say, "I'm suing the company for Brock assaulting me in the ring if they don't give me a rematch." That's the only thing I could say would have been a reasonable kayfabe.
I'm not saying hypothetical.
Well, wait. Can anyone explain to me? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can anyone explain to me what the point of Samoa Joe coming out of was? If Roman's just
that's my next question. If you are not a fan of if you do not have the backstory, if you're just channel surfing and you land on that promo, Samoa Joe's the good guy.
Yeah.
And Roman Reigns is the bad guy. What the fuck?
And no one understands how that works either. I don't get it.
Okay, let's talk about let's talk about these elbows. First of all, there is a reason you gig as opposed to get busted open hard way. Is because when you gig, it's much less painless or much less painful.
When you gig?
When you cut yourself.
Blade.
Oh, blade. Sorry.
Yeah, when you cut yourself.
I just want to say.
Face.
Sorry, not to interrupt, but before we go on, because I'm going to forget it. I was listening to Stone Cold's podcast. Even he said it's too much blood.
Yeah.
Even Stone Cold said
because it's hard blood.
Too much blood.
Yeah. The guy who almost bled out in the ring in WrestleMania 13 saying it's too much blood. Yeah. I didn't even get into
brought that up too.
Yeah, I didn't even get into the fact that had Roman won, that moment and plenty of others could have been classic WrestleMania bets. Instead, this match is going to be lost to the fucking end of history.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah. If you're gonna do the blood, A, have the courage of your convictions, which is the theme here with Roman Reigns, and gig because it's safe and it's controllable. I don't care. I don't care that Vince McMahon approved this spot. I don't care that Roman Reigns approved this spot. It's a stupid spot.
Roman Reigns constantly
I'm sorry.
sticks up for Vince. I just don't get why.
Because he wants to keep his job.
Care who,
because he's getting paid like $6 million a year to continue to do this, despite the fact that he's being made a fool of.
If you're gonna do the blood, do it before 45 seconds before the end of the match.
Yeah.
If you're going to go the fucking blood, don't have the blood be the second to last thing in the match and then go straight to the finish. Have the blood be halfway in the match and he's wrestling the rest of the match bleeding out.
Seriously.
Yeah. Have it matter.
Yeah. That's this match.
The thing.
It was clear. Like once you got to the third F5 and Roman kicks out, like 5 seconds after the second F5 and Roman kicked out, that's when I was like, okay, something's up here. Something about this is not right.
This whole
everything
match,
about this match is messed up. And then it just fucking went off the rails.
Watch this match on mute. I watched this match on mute on the airplane because my headphones died, so I didn't have a choice. It wasn't.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. My own dumb fault for not charging them. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't good.
I just want to point out.
Kind of was. But if you watch it with the crowd reaction and the crowd wanted to be anywhere else, I mean, fuck. How bad was Michael Cole screaming during this match? I can just imagine him shrieking.
It was horrendous.
I can just imagine him just shrieking at the top of his lungs about this match.
Michael Cole was pretty bad.
Yeah,
I'm half convinced that part of the reason why Roman Reigns isn't cool is Michael Cole yelling, "Here comes the big dog!" every time he appears on the screen.
Yeah.
Like, I'm convinced that doesn't help with the presentation of your product.
I just want to point out before we go
I am a Roman Reigns agnostic. I don't hate Roman Reigns.
Oh.
I don't love Roman Reigns.
He's in the middle, yeah.
I'm the same with you.
He is an excellent professional wrestler. He just doesn't make me all warm and fuzzy inside. But hating him doesn't make me all warm and fuzzy inside either. Like some people live their life to hate Roman Reigns, and some people live their life to love Roman Reigns, and God bless you all.
How long did that
They cannot be this dumb. I refuse to believe that this company is this incompetent, that they have not figured out how to book this guy. They can't be this dumb.
It's not incompetence. It's stubbornness. Like I said, this is why you're getting a title match in Jeddah, because everywhere else in the world outside of outside of like America and the UK, Roman Reigns is hugely over. Roman Reigns is hugely over in Japan and in China and in India and all these other places. Roman Reigns is a huge fucking deal and people love him.
But here's the deal.
But and that's why
going in. You're right.
That's exactly what I said. Yeah.
And you would think that that's what Vince wants.
There's no way that they could be shocked at this crowd's reaction and be like, "Oh my God, that's totally unexpected." There's no way. None. Helen fucking Keller could see this reaction coming.
Wow, that's
that's
quite saying.
I mean, yeah, that's a little extreme, but you're absolutely right, and that's why I say, be prepared, guys, because WrestleMania 35 in New York is probably going to be one of the last.
Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns again.
No, it's not going to be that. But what I will say is that it's probably going to be one of the last WrestleManias that we see on U.S. soil for quite a while because
I mean, if they're going to get mad paper from the Saudis, then yes.
Yeah, Vince is at this point willing to spite the people that made him his money in the first place just to get the reactions that he wants.
You know, I was once told,
but it's not even that. If you think Roman Reigns is the guy, push him like the guy.
I was once told a long time ago that it does not matter what the consumer wants. It's the company. It's the company's choice. They don't have to give a flying fuck about the consumer. I hope that this proves to everybody that the person who told me that was quite wrong in every possible fucking way known to man.
I hope
because this is... It was ludicrous that somebody would even think to tell me that back then. It's ludicrous to think that anyone would think that right now. Let me just ask: how long did this match go on? It was 20 minutes, right?
15-minute match.
16 minutes.
16
felt like an hour.
Yeah, it felt like an hour. I said this to Chris.
An hour.
I said this to Chris before we went on. 15 minutes. There were 5 moves between the two of them. 5. There was F5, a spear, Superman punch, a German suplex, and a belly-to-belly suplex. That's it. 5 moves between the two of them. I know Roman Reigns can do more than that shit.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I know they can. You know, listen, I loved watching Brock back then. I liked it when Brock came back. It was new. It was different. You know, at least it was somebody that was going to be kind of fun to watch. Now it's just like, it's borderline Great Khali territory. It really is. Brock has literally become the man with the 3-move plan. And is this really the solution to every major Brock match? Is, oh, no one likes it? Brock makes someone bleed. Like, seriously.
The hard way blood needs to stop. It's not. It's just reckless. Yeah. I don't care.
It doesn't work. It doesn't make me excited.
It's stupid.
People aren't excited about Brock, period. Let me tell you that. Because, like I said, the live crowds were into this build, and after the Elimination Chamber, people were anti-Roman, but you can tell as this build went on over the past 6 weeks, a lot of Brock fatigue has really started to set in, and people are ready for the championship to be back on TV and for there to be a champion who is regularly defending the belt. And let's not even forget, whether people want to admit it or not, for a very long time, one of the only highlights on Monday Night Raw on a week in and week out basis was a Roman Reigns match. When he had the IC title, Roman Reigns matches were the highlight of Raw.
I was listening
matches, regardless of where he is.
Roman has not wrestled on Monday Night Raw since the Gauntlet match 2 months ago.
Yeah,
he's working every house show. He's working dark matches, so he's not hurt. But he has not wrestled on the USA Network since mid-February.
And that's criminal.
I was listening to another podcast, and I don't remember the name. I apologize. I listen to so many different wrestling podcasts on YouTube. But here was how the crowd went. George, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong.
Of course. Of course.
So the second that the Nakamura Shinsuke the second that the Shinsuke AJ Styles match ended, not only was the crowd dead, but they were just like, all right, hurry the fuck up. So
people left. The building.
I
can confirm that people left the building, and I know that because a lot of people in front of me, they had their Ubers up, and they were calling Ubers.
So
I can confirm that many people left the building, and you could see it in the aisles and stuff after the Nakamura match.
Roman comes out, crowd doesn't care. You just hear boos because that's what it is. I'll get into how I feel about that later. But Brock comes out, nobody cares. No, it's not that there were boos. It's not that they were cheering. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. From the second this match started to the end, nobody cared. Apparently, there were people trying to start the wave that didn't really work. Then Roman did Superman.
Here's the crowd chanted. You ready?
Yeah.
Bring back Nicholas.
Yep, I heard that.
Johnny Wrestling.
I heard this is awful, loud and clear. That I heard.
This is awful. And then half a dozen beach balls, and the crowd would cheer when the beach ball would evade security, and the crowd would boo when security took the beach ball, and the crowd would cheer when a new beach ball was introduced, and then the crowd would chant delete when security took the beach ball. and so on and so on. And
apparently there were just
Brock
beach balls
yelling
flying
"motherfucker"
everywhere.
got a pop.
Oh yeah, I bet that.
That got a pop. Like after the fourth F5 when the camera cuts him and he just goes "motherfucker," that got a pop. And the finish got a pop.
Gave a fuck about this match. The people who were there just were there because they just wanted to get their money's worth out of the final thing. And people didn't cheer because Brock won, Chris. People cheered because the match was finally over. They could go home.
No, I get that.
There wasn't a pop when Brock won. And everyone just was like, oh, it's been 7.5 hours. My ass hurts. Bourbon Street's a mile away. Let's get drunk. And then as we were leaving, and I did not see this. I saw this after the fact. They then played Roman's music and tried to make him a sympathetic babyface.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, like I saw gifs.
But I was already in the aisle. I was already like 3/4 way up the aisle when that happened. So I
saw gifs that like after the fact they had like a spot of him like him cleaning him up in the ring, and then he went over to ringside and like gave his wife a hug and held his daughter's hand and whatnot, and then
they played his music.
And it was just like I didn't even go back to watch it. Like, I'm never ever going back to watch anything of this WrestleMania ever again. Not that anything deserves to be rewatched, but I'm never going back to watch any of this again because that was a fucking travesty on top of a travesty that they tried to do that then.
Just listen, put him the fuck over.
Yeah.
Listen, here's the thing. I'm gonna be. And then
blunt. We'll go to NXT real fast because we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna be blunt and as honest as possible. It's done. For 5 years, we've done this song and dance with Roman. It's done. That's it. It's done. Give up.
He's unrehabilitatable.
He's unusable. You killed him.
Shame too.
At least in WWE. It sucks.
No, but listen. Here's the thing, Chris. Here's the thing.
And I'm not even a fan of the guy, and it sucks.
Here's the thing. He regardless of what anybody wants to think, regardless of what you want to say, and I'm sorry to say this, he was forced down everyone's throats. Whether or not because he's part of the Samoan family, he's Dwayne Johnson's cousin, I don't give a shit which. He was forced down our throats because he's 6'3", weighs over 240 or 50 fucking pounds, and looks like he could beat the living shit out of anybody he wants, probably because he could. He was forced down everyone's throats. And what has happened for the last 5 years? Every single time he gets slightly close, they're just like, nope. He loses because we think that's what you want, or we don't, or whatever the fuck. This is it.
I said it's because Vince is stubborn and he wants his guy to get over in the way he wants him over. He wants another Hogan. He wants another Cena. And he's not going to get that with Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns is not that kind of person. And I've said that from the beginning. He never should have gone for that. And I'll tell you this right now. You tell me tomorrow that Roman Reigns signed his release and is going to be in fucking New Japan, I guarantee you he will be
so fucking happy.
He would be the fucking 1A to Okada's 1 in a month because Gedo would know how to fucking book him. Kadani would know how to fucking promote him. He would be an immediate star because they understand you can't force the crowd to do what you want them to do. The crowd has to be able to have some agency. And Vince, because he hates wrestling and because he hates the fact that he made his money off of wrestling instead of Hollywood or whatever the fuck else he wanted to make his money off of, he feels that he doesn't need to give the crowd their agency. Well, fuck that noise, Vince. You lost anything, any sort of, respect or care that any of us had for you with that. I'm done.
I'm just saying it's over.
Chris.
Yeah.
Picture Roman Reigns as either Cody Rhodes' enforcer or Minoru Suzuki's enforcer for a year, and then turning on them and taking over either Bullet Club or Suzuki Gun.
Instantaneously,
a year and a half long, slow build, so the crowd can get invested.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Because wrestling is not fucking ADD. You can't just force it all to happen.
All right. I mean, it's just, and I'm not even a fan of the guy, and I'm pissed off. I cannot imagine how the people who have put up with this.
Did you? I don't know if Tanya's still in the chat, but if you, Tanya really had it right with the following day with her entire timeline of shout outs to people who, decided to do their own fucking thing and have not been under the thumb of WWE and, didn't.
God bless. I saw that.
Yeah.
God bless, man. God bless them all. Anyone who wants to leave the company and grind, I'll never turn them down.
Yeah,
I'll never turn them down.
I understand. You know, like I said, Roman Reigns is making like $5-6 million a year. He's got 3 kids at home, and he wants to be able to provide the best life for them that he possibly can.
God bless.
You know what?
I'm not going to tell man. I'm not going to tell a man how he can and cannot make his money. I'm not doing it.
Good for him. Good for him for doing that. Exactly.
I wouldn't tell Roman Reigns that, but this is just cruel and unusual to him.
It's just absurd.
Yeah.
So
listen, I'm not a big. I could care less whether Roman Reigns wins or loses. I'm indifferent. But this even this makes me upset for the guy. This is just sad.
It makes me upset because it's idiotic.
Yeah.
It offends my sensibilities.
Yeah. It offends me as a fan since the 1990s. It really does.
Exactly. Today it's Roman Reigns. Tomorrow it could be your favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Just say it. So, all right.
That's why, Tanya said in that whole Twitter tirade that she is, I'm not going to be as aggressive as her, but I understand that she has every right to be outright laughing in people's faces when their favorites get fucked over.
It's going to be your favorite soon, man. Yeah. It'll happen to you.
And then another old timer is going to come back. They're going to bring back Dwayne again. One last thing before we move on.
It happened to me.
I just want to say this before we move on. I know everyone's a big CM Punk. Oh, they were chanting for CM Punk during the match too. I did remember that.
Yes, you're right. Forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah,
for like 3 seconds.
For 3 seconds. Yes, 3 seconds. When CM Punk did his pipe bomb, I was very, very angry because he basically brought all the reality shit in, but now everyone took it as a joke because it was some scripted pipe bomb bullshit. It was scripted. Come on, this is fucking stupid. So now anyone who says what CM Punk says for real, no one's gonna fucking listen. When the next night when Roman Reigns comes out and starts bitching about conspiracies and all this shit, not only was I angry because I was like, really? This is gonna solve your problem to his character? You make him come out and do the fucking Vince Russo conspiracy theory thing? But it also annoyed the shit out of me because there is some kind of conspiracy screw job going on with him personally that he's accepting. Again, he has all the right to make money for his family. Would never tell a person not to. But at some point, like, he's got to say to himself, like, this is just ridiculous. This is bullshit. I'm getting just fucking dumpstered on for no reason. 5 years of this bullshit. Like, and then you bring out Samoa Joe. Oh, here's Samoa Joe's return. For what? What reason? He's not facing him at the fucking pay-per-view. So basically,
facing him at Backlash.
So now you're already announcing that Roman's going to lose to Brock, or what?
No, Roman's beating Brock in Jeddah, and the crowd's going to cheer for it because that's what they're going to be paid to do. And then it's going to be Joe versus Roman for the title.
And the crowd won't cheer for Roman here. Like,
listen, once you do that, you can literally kiss any chance of Roman getting cheered goodbye. This is the complete. If Roman wins, I'm hoping Roman loses in Jeddah, by the way. Because if he wins, Chris, that's it. It's done. You will never get a fan to like Roman ever again. Ever.
Beyond the people already do, yeah.
I think we're beyond that either way. That ship has sailed, man.
No. That ship sailed, but now it has no way of coming back. That SSN shipped, and it's not coming back.
What I don't understand is there's no way they couldn't have seen this reaction coming.
Exactly. I said
there's no way. They had to.
Because it's the same reaction for 3 years at WrestleMania main events.
Yep. And it's not like they don't know who's buying the fucking tickets. They know. They have their social media people all over this shit.
When did Dwayne Johnson versus John Cena happen? Was that 4 years ago?
That was
2012 and then 2013.
So 5 years ago and 6.
So for the last 5 years, we have dealt with a main event nobody wanted.
No,
last main event.
No, people wanted Randy Orton versus Batista versus Daniel Bryan because they thought Daniel Bryan might win.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. For setting that one aside, let's pretend that didn't happen. We have been dealing now with 5 years worth of WrestleMania main events that no one gives a fuck about. WrestleMania, to a lot of people, is just dead. It's just nothing anymore. That's it.
Chris, I'm telling you, man, can't go next year.
No, I already said I'm not going.
Unless I win the lotto and we get like unbelievable seats, it's not worth it. Even if the show was good, hard to see anything.
That's really this is the last thing that we're going to say before we move on to TakeOver. In the end, the takeaway from this WrestleMania is this. We talked last week on the show about how this was a card that we thought, would deliver up to the level of hype that was behind it, and how your previous cards in recent years have either over-delivered beyond what we expected or under-delivered based on what we expected. True. We thought that this card would meet its expectations and possibly, exceed them and be in terms of being one of the greatest WrestleMania cards of all time. Instead, WWE went out of its way to make this essentially a sequel to WrestleMania 32. Just slightly better, but overall a complete waste of fucking time.
The undercard was excellent. The main events were not good.
It was the gift that kept on giving, too, well into Tuesday after what they did to Charlotte. It was literally the gift that just kept on giving.
Yeah. I will say this. I'm happy for the NXT debuts. Authors of Pain came up, and they are immediately making a huge impression, and they ditched Paul Ellering, which I've been calling for quite a while now, so I'm all good for that. No Way Jose, he'll be fun in the undercard. He'll be geeked out.
Good opening match guy. Get the crowd hot.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the best opening guys I've seen in years.
Ember, like you said, will be great in the Raw.
Ember will be great.
Yeah, and the Icons immediately made an impact, and I'm really happy for them finally getting their spot. And
there's a rumor going around they're going to have Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Why? Just why?
Because Vince needs something else to jerk off to now.
What for?
Yeah,
we're scraping the bottom of the fucking barrel.
I will say this though: if SummerSlam needs to have Roman and the Usos versus Joe and the Authors of Pain as a 6-man tag match, that needs to fucking happen because that would be amazing.
That would be good, yeah.
Yeah, but that's besides the point. Let's get to TakeOver.
I'm not getting my hopes up, man. Let's talk about NXT. Let's do NXT Ring of Honor, and then I'll tell you about the best match I saw this weekend.
Yeah, we'll run through the greatest hits of the Indies from this weekend.
Yep.
NXT ladder match for the North American Championship. Adam Cole won, defeated EC3, Dane, Lars Sullivan, Ricochet, and Velveteen Dream. Good match.
I went 4.5.
This match.
I went 4.5, and I'm like the low man. People love this match. So I went 4.5. I thought it was excellent.
Normally, ladder matches are fuckfest. This was not a fuckfest, even though it was also a fuckfest.
You know what was a fuckfest? You know what was a fuckfest? Mauro Ranallo was a fuckfest.
Really?
Man,
yeah.
I saw that video of his reactions, and I'm actually okay with that. I thought it was okay.
Let's talk about him. Let's talk about him talking about the Infinity Stones. I wrote down what he said. Where's my notepad?
Oh god.
We don't have time for that. But yeah, it was.
There you go. Oh, scrolling down.
We don't have time.
We have plenty of time. We're going over. I've decreed. Here we go. Oh, this collection of superheroes rivals Infinity Wars. But instead of looking for the 6 Infinity Stones, these 6 men need to prove that they have the stones to win the North American title. Fuck you, Mauro. Fuck you. Fuck you. Nobody cares about your stupid-ass references.
Was that a real reference?
Listen,
That cannot be real.
I'm going to tell you what I think. And honestly,
that being said, he was unbelievable at the main event. So I will say that. He was excellent in the main event.
I honestly, with the amount of push that WWE makes to be associated with mainstream culture, I'm fairly certain that they have given him a decree from on high to throw as many pop culture references into the shows as he can so that people will start associating WWE again with mainstream stuff because that's how desperate
I thought he was bad in this match, and I thought he was really, really, really great in the main event. So we'll call it a wash.
Yeah.
We'll call it a wash.
Yeah, but I'm sticking with the theory that it's not Mauro's decision to do these things on the fly. I'm pretty sure that these are things that have been fed to him, and it's unfortunate because he's a great announcer when he's allowed to be organic. But WWE, they don't allow organic shit. So
no, they allow a ball game instead.
Oh God, can we never go back to that again? I'm glad JBL is never announcing again.
How about my girl
versus my girl?
My girl Shayna.
Yeah, I'll say this. I'll say this. This was a 12-minute match. This was a 13-minute match. And as Ember's last hurrah in NXT, I mean, going out this way, I think this was the best that they could have done for her because it's just been miscue after miscue with her since her fucking debut. and it's unfortunate that this is how her career ends. But you know what?
She's making that paper.
She'll do better on the main roster, which is shocking. You know,
God bless.
Nobody does better on the main roster, but hopefully she will.
I like the beginning where Ember went for the flying kick and Shayna just punched her in the face.
Hmm.
And then the spot of Shayna popping her arm back into her socket.
No. I have to call that out.
Oh.
As someone who dealt with chronic shoulder dislocation for 6 years, I'm going to tell you right now, that is not how you reset your shoulder. That is the absolute wrong way to reset your shoulder. That's because
wrestling, dude.
Well, for anybody out there who, if you ever dislocate your shoulder, think that's the way to do it, you don't fucking do it that way, because that's a surefire way to make sure that your ligaments get even worse fucked up from your dislocation than they already are.
Yeah, that's what they were going for.
So,
but holding her hair with her good arm was a good way to lock the choke in, though.
It wasn't her. It was, they're saying it was her ear that they were having her hold. Yeah, whatever.
Either way, she's sold on offense, and that makes me happy.
Yes. I know you are the high priest preaching the gospel of selling on offense.
I am the archbishop of that shit.
Yes.
The archbishop of that shit.
The archbishop of that shit. I'm going to get it on my business cards.
Let's talk about the most surprising heel turn in the past 5 years that worked like a fucking magic trick. Undisputed Era beat Authors of Pain and Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong for the NXT Tag Team titles and the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Trophy, when Roderick Strong turned on Pete Dunne, hit him with the End of Heartache, and then pulled Kyle O'Reilly's body on top of Pete Dunne's to get Undisputed Era the pin.
I did like Roddy Strong selling it by beating the shit out of both men for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So that would be a total swerve.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was the most unexpected thing. Like, if I hadn't already been spoiled on it, I probably would have lost my goddamn mind.
I think you did that a long time ago.
Well, even more so than I already have. But yeah, like, it was that was a brilliantly well done maneuver there, and a great way to allow Authors of Pain to leave NXT still being the monsters that they are without having to directly take the loss.
Yes.
Very smartly done, and allows them. Gave them, that was the good way to give them the clean slate to be able to say, you know, Paul, we're done with you, and get rid of him, because I know Paul Ellering does not want to be on the road with them.
Touring. He's like 70. Yeah. No.
He wants to be able to stay home and, you know, watch Rachel when she's at a show in his town. That's what Paul Ellering
He's
wants.
earned that. More power to him.
He's a Hall of Famer. He should be allowed to watch he should be allowed to watch his daughter on the Indies whenever she's in town. Absolutely.
Sorry.
Rachel Ellering.
Oh.
Yeah, that's his daughter. But yeah, great match. And
said my name. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just calling ahead. I actually need to take a second because of these two matches. I need to call ahead to this past Wednesday's NXT. Kairi Sane beat Lacey Evans in the opener of this week's NXT. They're definitely setting up for Kairi Shayna repeat of the Mae Young Classic Finals, and I'm pretty sure Kairi's going to win it in Brooklyn. Like, Shayna will beat her in Chicago, and then Kairi will beat Shayna in Brooklyn. And
I gotta go to NXT.
Oh yeah, I gotta go. We gotta go to Brooklyn because that's gonna.
Problem is NXT is Katie's birthday, so I'm gonna have to find a way to get her to be a fan.
Yeah, dude, just have her watch all of Kairi's stuff from Stardom. She'll fall in love with her.
I hope
watch this waifu beat the shit out of people and throw elbows.
Yeah. Perfect. And then
hope I'm invited. Shit.
You'll be in Brooklyn. I promise you that. You'll be there for Takeover. Then the other match that happened on this week's NXT, Heavy Machinery versus Sabatelli and Moss ended in a double DQ because Hanson and Rowe hit the ring and beat the shit out of everybody. Love the fact that War Machine is in NXT. Hate that fucking name.
Yeah, it's a bad name.
It's a bad name. And not only is it a bad name, it's awkward as fuck to say. You don't need to give a commentary team that already has trouble forming sentences a name that requires them to run an R sound into another R sound.
Are they
I can already hear Percy Watson tripping over this and just being infuriated by it.
Without knowing, are they another clone that they're trying to make of...
No, they're an independent team.
Yeah, War Machine was originally from Ring of Honor and New Japan, and they're amazing. Those two guys are fucking awesome. Yeah, that name it
does not sound good.
It's a bad name. They're definitely better as War Machine, 100%. But anyway, back to Takeover. Semi-main, Aleister Black defeated Andrade Cien Almas to win the NXT Championship. I figured this was going to happen, and I am all in for Aleister Black as NXT champion. Love the guy. Love
the end of this, where the interference finally cost him.
Yes, that was brilliant.
Great. He
catches Zelina tried one too many times,
and then gets kicked in the face.
Yep. Worked out amazingly well. And Aleister as NXT champion opens the door to a slew of amazing matches that I can't wait to see.
I'll be honest, I'm sorry I missed TakeOver because I forgot that Friday is the Hall of Fame thing now. And NXT is on Saturday. I thought it was reversed. So I thought that I just missed it on Friday.
It's all good. But you need to go back and watch this whole show. This whole show
probably should.
This whole show, top to bottom, was easily the best WWE show that they've put on.
I'm sure it was better than Mania.
Oh, it's the best show that WWE has put on, top to bottom, in the past 3 years, easily, if not longer. It was an amazing card. It was an amazing card. Everything on it was great, and yeah, just great show. And best WWE match in the past decade. Johnny Gargano defeated Tommaso Ciampa by submission in an unsanctioned match to be reinstated to NXT.
I went
full five.
I went the full five.
Full five. Instant full five.
It's number 2 on my match of the year behind Gargano Almas, but I think that's because I was spoiled going into this match.
Possibly.
I think, but that's how the cookie crumbles.
I put this ahead of Gargano Almas easily.
This is my number 2.
This is my number 1. So far this year,
I'm almost convinced that it's because I was spoiled going into this match, and I could not appreciate. Like I even knew the ending, and I was like really spoiled. It wasn't like I knew the Ciampa was going to lose. So like once he took the brace, I'm like, okay, here we go. But I still loved every minute of this match. So it's my number 2 match of the year so far.
My number 1. It's like I said, this is the best WWE match I've seen in a decade. It's miles better than anything that I've seen. Like just the emotional highs matching the physical action that was happening in the ring.
Ciampa with no music, great touch.
Yeah, no, the subtle touch.
He doesn't want any pop at all, man. Yeah. I loved it. Yeah, loved it.
I can't even put it into words. Just if you haven't seen this match, go watch it.
He gives him a chance.
As soon as we sign off, go watch this match if you haven't seen it already.
He gives him a chance. Because at the end, Johnny Gargano is a good guy, and he gives him a fucking chance to redeem himself.
Yep.
But nope. Scumbag Ciampa says, fuck you. And then he gets hoisted by his own petard.
Yep. Johnny sees it coming. Johnny's not a typical dumbass WWE babyface.
He was willing to give him that chance, and the guy said nope, and Johnny said, okay, time to die, bitch.
Yep. Brilliant.
How about stealing the crutches from the plant? What a dick! What a dick!
The ways to get heat. Tommaso Ciampa, like I'm pretty sure that he has
fucking great.
I'm pretty sure that he has some level of agency over what's going on with his character, and he's able to inject some of these things because, like, I don't think that a typical WWE writer, even some of the writers that they have in NXT, and they have some good writers in NXT, I don't think that any typical WWE writer would have the idea of having Ciampa steal a crutch from a guy at ringside just to beat Johnny with a crutch again.
Yep.
That's I'm pretty sure that's got to be Ciampa's influence, and
that's great.
That was brilliant.
I loved every. I watched this yesterday on the treadmill at the gym, and sometimes when I watch wrestling on the treadmill, it's a shitty match, and then it feels like it takes a year and a half because you're on the treadmill. You know what I'm saying? This match, I was like, holy shit, this match fucking flew by, and I'm done with the treadmill. Cool.
And it's a 37-minute match too.
It didn't drag. It did not drag at all.
37-minute match, and every moment of it was fire.
Everything all the pieces mattered. This match fucking ruled.
It had its mixtape. Is that what it was, Chris?
Yep.
It was
Fire
so
mixtape.
good.
It was great.
Johnny Gargano is just and you know what? All due respect to Tommaso Ciampa, and all due respect to Andrade Almas, two guys that I love. Man, I cannot wait until Johnny Gargano faces a frontline workhorse. The magic he'll be able to get out of him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when he faces like an actual super duper star in the ring. The shit that they'll be able to do.
Imagine, if you will. This will never happen. But imagine, if you will, Johnny Gargano versus Roman Reigns. The story.
Fuck yeah, Roman throwing his ass all over the place.
The story
Fuck
that they
yeah.
tell with that. It would be.
Is this person from New Japan or from NXT?
Johnny Gargano? No, he's in it. Before he was in NXT, he was in Evolve. He was like the fucking face of Evolve.
Oh, he's the Evolve dude.
And before that, even Dragon Gate.
Oh yeah. So, no, that dude's awesome.
Dude, watch this. Take the half an hour and watch this match when we're done.
Yeah,
I probably will.
Yeah, it's
well
great, dude. It's so.
I know you're way behind on NXT, man, but you know it
doesn't matter. Watch the match. Watch the video.
Yeah, this is worth it.
I remember who Gargano is. You showed me who he was, Chris. I remember that was the guy I told you was like, why is this guy not on the main roster? Yeah,
let us not do Ring of Honor. I'll talk about the second best match I saw this weekend when we're done with NXT.
Actually, why don't we just save Ring of Honor for next week? Because there's other implications for that.
There's a lot. We should give Ring of Honor, because the Ring of Honor show was good. We should give it a full blown rundown.
Yeah, we'll digest Ring of Honor next week, and then for now we'll talk about the.
Let me talk about the second best match I saw this week.
The greatest hits of the weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, Riddle Ospreay Friday night.
This is for the WWN Super Show, Mercury Rising 2018.
WWN was a lot of fun. The opening six-man, good match. Zachary Wentz, MJF, a few other people were there. I don't remember. Fun little six-man. Keith Lee and Daisuke Sekimoto was everything I want in a wrestling match. Just two big guys beating each other.
Yep.
A lot of fun. Let's talk about Riddle Ospreay.
Yeah.
So Ospreay's selling the neck, right?
Yeah.
He's selling the neck. The match is going on. 5 minutes into the match, Riddle locks a sleeper on Ospreay. Ospreay climbs to the turnbuckle, and he's going to fall back to break the sleeper from the top rope, right?
Mm-hmm.
But while he's falling, Riddle flips him in midair, and Ospreay lands on his head. Will Ospreay's dead because he's Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
Will Ospreay's dead. Other referees come out. Gabe comes out. Ospreay's not moving. They're trying to see if he's okay. He's not moving. Riddle's pacing back and forth. Crowd is hushed. Will Ospreay gets to his knees, Chris. Pushes Gabe away. Pushes the other refs away. Points to Riddle and says, "Come on!" And Riddle fucking V-triggers him to death. And I am standing and cheering. And the crowd is standing and cheering. And Matt Riddle rips off the tape. You know, he's got that special tape that Cesaro has. And he rips off the tape of Will's neck. And he's kicking him in the back of the head. And Will fires up. And he hits the spinning shooting star press, the standing one. And I'm standing and cheering. And he hits him with a bunch of other shit. Crazy-ass, innovative Will Ospreay offense.
Yeah.
Goes for the ass cutter. And Riddle catches him in the bro to sleep. And he won't fucking give up because he's Will Ospreay. And he flew 6,000 miles to fight. And then Riddle twists his neck and bends him back, and he's forced to give up.
Bro mission.
5 stars. 5 fucking stars. This match was incredible. The crowd was dead, and they got them in the match. And everything after Ospreay's near-death experience was a revelation. And he's selling, and he's fighting back, and he's the ultimate babyface of ever babyface. And Matt Riddle's just the diabolical son of a bitch. And it was everything I wanted in the match. And we stood and cheered and stamped our feet, and it was so awesome to be there. And paying $100 to get out the fucking door because of Uber Surge was not awesome. But that match was great. Getting out the door and paying for fucking Uber Surge was not great. So
I believe it. Yeah.
Note to self: we'll have to drive everywhere, Chris.
Yes.
Well worth it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
You know, but like Chris, if you have not seen this show, the WWN Super Show, Saber Sawa was very good. Saber won with that weird napalm bomb thing he does, like with the legs split and whatever. lead Sakamoto. Sakamoto won with like this cool falling German.
Yeah.
Ospreay Riddle with the wrenching bro mission.
Nice.
5 stars. Loved this match. Perfect professional wrestling match. My number 3 match of the year is this match.
Nice.
It was not close to 1 and 2, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a great match in its own right.
Indeed.
So, and we'll talk Ring of Honor next week, and I have some great matches from Ring of Honor to talk about.
Yep. In the meantime, we're going to just run through some of the other highlights of the indie weekend. In terms, I'm only going to stick to like major championship matches that happened. At Evolve, Evolve ran Evolve 102 and 103 on Thursday and Friday of the weekend. At Evolve 102, Matt Riddle actually beat Zack Sabre Jr. to win the Evolve World Championship, which he then defended against Will Ospreay at Mercury Rising. And what I'm told was an incredible match. And Riddle's crusade against rope breaks continues to be a highlight of his Evolve career and indie career. The next night, in a shocking turn of events, because the previous or earlier in the day, Keith Lee defended the WWE Championship against Cassius Ohno at WrestleMania Access. And then at Evolve 103, proceeds to lose the WWN Championship to Austin Theory in a title versus title match.
Was Keith Lee in the Crowder takeover? I don't think so, right?
No, he was not. No. So, title versus title match, the WWN Championship and the FIP World Heavyweight Championship, both on the line. Austin Theory won thanks to ref bump, low blow into the TKO. I'm told it was a lot of fun and definitely worth the watch. As was the main event of that night, Matt Riddle retaining the Evolve World Championship over Daisuke Sekimoto. Yeah, those two guys chopping the hell out of each other. I look forward to getting caught up on that. From Joey Janela's Spring Break 2, this wasn't a title match, but Pierre-Carl Ouellette from the Quebecers.
This was unbelievable.
He beat Walter from WXW.
Oh, Walter! Oh, Ring Comp wrestled Jaka and Chris Dickinson in a great match at WWN.
Yes.
I forgot to mention that. That was a fun match, too.
Yes. Well,
and I even like Tim Thatcher. You know I hate Tim Thatcher.
Yeah, I
thought he was good here.
Yeah, Tim Thatcher, when he's doing his ring comp shit, he's great. Love Tim Thatcher when he's doing ring comp stuff. But, Pierre-Carl Ouellette of the Quebecers, who is in his 50s, facing Walter at Spring Break 2. There are pictures out there that are not for the faint of heart of what Pierre-Carl Ouellette looked like after getting his chest chopped to shit by Walter.
It looks like somebody rubbed charcoal on his chest.
Yeah. It's gross, but that shows you just what kind of a match it was. It was ridiculous. Moving over to Rev Pro at their WrestleCon 2018 show. The main event, Zack Sabre Jr. did not have a good weekend for retaining his belts because he lost the RPW British Heavyweight Championship to, wait for George's pop here, the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii.
Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
Yeah.
By the way, I heard Suzuki Riddle was awesome too from Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
Suzuki had some great matches. At RPW, Suzuki faced Jeff Cobb. That was an amazing match too.
Really?
But yeah, Ishii wins the rubber match and takes the title from Sabre.
Good stuff.
I mean,
telling you, Chris, next year, man, I'm flying out Wednesday after work.
Yeah.
We're going to shows all day Thursday, all day Friday, all day Saturday, and I'm flying back home Sunday because it'll be so much cheaper than flying back Monday.
Absolutely, yeah. But I mean, Sabre doesn't really have anything to complain about because he's still RPW tag champs with Suzuki. So, I mean, he's still got one belt in Rev Pro. Yeah. Progress ran Chapter 66 and Chapter 67 on Friday and Saturday. Main event of Chapter 66, Travis Banks retained the Progress World Championship against Shane Strickland. I was told it was quite an incredible match.
I love Shane Strickland, so I should watch this.
Your guy, yep. And then Chapter 67, Toni Storm retained the Progress Women's Championship over Mercedes Martinez in what may have been the best women's match of the entire weekend. And let's see what else. Walter beat Zack Sabre Jr. to become #1 contender to the Progress World Championship. And Travis Banks.
What is the Progress World Championship?
Travis Banks.
Okay.
And Travis Banks.
You wrestled in the sixth man, by the way, that I talked about.
Yes.
At the WWN show.
Yep. And then after successfully defending against Shane Strickland at Chapter 66, then had another successful defense at Chapter 67 against Jeff Cobb. So Travis Banks had himself a hell of a good weekend. Shimmer 100, the only indie show that I watched from the weekend during the course of the weekend. Excellent show. Great. Shimmer
That's what Philip Exman was telling me too.
Yeah, Shimmer always delivers great at Mania weekend. The last 4 matches on this, the last 5 matches on this card, all spectacular. Especially want to highlight Madison Eagles versus Deonna Purrazzo. If you're a fan of technical wrestling and mat-based submission wrestling, Eagles Purrazzo was your dream match.
I heard that Purrazzo had a good weekend in her own right.
Yeah, but that match in particular was a technical masterpiece. Probably the best match on the card. It was spectacular. The 2 title matches that happened. Shazza McKenzie defeated Tessa Blanchard to retain the Heart of Shimmer Championship. I think Tessa might be heading to the Performance Center finally because they gave her Shazza gave her the ring after the match, and she got a standing ovation from the crowd. So something tells me Tessa might be heading to the PC soon. I'm not sure.
Maybe she'll be in the crowd in Chicago.
Maybe. And then Nicole Savoy defeated Mercedes Martinez to retain the Shimmer Championship. I've already talked about my theories on Mercedes being on her indie retirement run and heading to the PC as a trainer soon. So I fully expect that to be the case. Matt Riddle defeated Anthony Henry in the season finale of Style Battle to be the Style Battle Season 1 champion. At Pancakes and Pile Drivers, co-run by AEW, Fight Club Pro, and Pro Wrestling Revolver. Meiko Satomura had won the Fight Club Pro Championship from Pete Dunne earlier in the week, and she successfully defended it in a triple threat match over Jessica Havoc and Kimber Lee. I was told it was quite a fun match. ACH defeated Trevor Lee to retain the AEW Heavyweight Championship. And the main event, Besties in the World, Dave Vega and Matt Fichette defeated Aussie Open and the Rascals to retain both the AEW and Pro Wrestling Revolver Tag Team Championships in a ladder match where both tag titles were on the line.
Sounds like a hell of a match. No one knows for.
Yep. CZW co-main event, Ricky Shane Page defeated Ethan Page to retain the CZW World Heavyweight Championship, and in the main event, Will Ospreay defeated Desmond Xavier in a really special dream match kind of scenario.
Nice.
Definitely worth checking out. And that
sounds like all of them. Bloodsport.
Yeah,
Bloodsport. The main event was Riddle. Bloodsport. The main event was Riddle and Suzuki, and Suzuki choked him out.
Yeah.
Bloodsport is no ropes, no pins. The only way to get a win is knockout or submission.
Yeah.
I'm also told Walter and Tom Lawler was a really good match too from Bloodsport.
I've heard that too. Yeah. Actually, that's actually a good point there, Zed. Testa is technically signed for All In, so I don't know if she actually will be in the crowd for.
Good point.
So she might not be.
Yeah.
Maybe that was. Maybe that was a
Survivor Series.
Maybe that was a face turn moment for her because she's. I mean, she's been a heel since like late 2016 in Shimmer. So maybe this is a face turn moment for her. I don't know. I mean, Shazza McKenzie is eternally a face, so I don't see how they could have done a face turn for Tessa against Shazza. So I don't know, but whatever. Anyway, we've gone on for way too long.
We have.
Yeah, it's been like 2.5 hours almost. So thank you guys for hanging out with us.
As always.
On episode 57. Mike, it's a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for being here to help us recap a mixed weekend of wrestling.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you back again in the future. We've got plenty of stuff coming up. We got Backlash next month and Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, all to look forward to. Superstar Shakeup is coming up soon. We'll definitely have some
next week.
That's next week. Shit, I didn't think it was that soon.
It's 4 days from now, or whatever.
Yeah, so we'll have that to talk about on next week's show as well. I guess let's do the plugs and then we'll get on out of here. As always, our friends in the wrestling podcast sphere that we would like you to check out. This week, Wednesday Night Shooting was actually replaced by Tuesday Live After SmackDown Live because Tanya and Andrew couldn't wait to have their discussion of what happened at WrestleMania. And if you didn't listen to Live After SmackDown Live, you need to go listen because everything that I said about that WrestleMania main event, Tanya echoed in many ways, and it was quite a Tanya bomb. We've heard some Tanya bombs in the past. This was quite a Tanya bomb. So definitely go check that out when you get a chance. And follow Tanya and Andrew on Twitter at Militia Mellis Joe and at Andrew M. Swift. They're good folks. We love them, and we are happy to have them as part of our podcasting network once again. Philip Dawson with the Dawson Report. You can follow him on Twitter at Philip Bexman. The Dawson Report aired today. George was a special guest on the show.
Yeah, just now.
Yeah. So George has been on the air for like 5 hours.
Yeah, I've been talking since 6 o'clock my time, so 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah.
Thanks, Google Hangouts.
Yeah. Thanks for finally working Google Hangouts. We appreciate it. Definitely check out the Dawson Report and check out the sports podcast as well that Philip and George do.
We just did it. Give us a listen. Check my.
Oh, that was. I thought you were doing Dawson Report, or were you doing the sports?
No,
stuff?
I was doing the sports.
Oh, okay.
I do the sports with Philip.
Yeah, so the Dawson Report happened.
We talk NBA playoffs. It's a lot of fun.
Right. Oh, that's right. Because the Dawson Report happened like 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Basically, Philip talked for 2 hours, and then Philip and I talked for 2 hours. And then you and I talked for 2 hours.
Yeah, the three of us talked for 2 hours.
So Philip made the hot tag to me, and then I made the hot tag to you, Chris.
Yeah.
And now you're going to go stream on Twitch for like 3 hours, probably, right?
I don't know. We'll see.
First, he's going to stream for the next 3 days.
Maybe. We'll see. The night is young, as they say. You can also check out our friends from Shooting Debris, Takers Media, and Mr. Dr. Senju. It was Shooting Debris on Saturday mornings. 11 Eastern, 10 Central, with their wonderful takes on the wrestling sphere. They will undoubtedly have their own views on the awfulness that was WrestleMania and lots of other stuff as well. You follow them at Shooting Debris 1. Remember, it's BREEZ1 in the Twitter tag. And you can also follow them at Takers_Minion and at MRDR Senju. You can also follow our friends at the Married Marks podcast and Not Your Demo Pod from Not Your Demographic and Facelock Feministas at Facelock Fems to find them on all major podcasting syndication networks. Next week, episode 58, we will be talking about Ring of Honor. We'll be talking about the Superstar Shakeup and whatever the hell else comes across our table. As you can see in the video description.
Always something, Chris.
Yeah, as you can see in the video description, coming into tonight's show, I had no fucking clue what we were going to talk about next week, but now we know. So it's good. We're good.
It's good.
You can follow us on Twitter at 2guys1sport, number 2, number 1 in the handle. You can follow me at CrazyChris576. Follow George at GitSavas. And in the link to the video, in the description below the video, you can find the link to our iTunes channel. You can
subscribe, give us 5 stars on iTunes.
Yes, give us all
5 stars. We are the Gargano Ciampa of iTunes wrestling. 5 stars.
And especially because I'm going to be going to make a slight change to the iTunes broadcast where I'm going to be adding an outro because for those of you who, I'm sure nobody really has caught on to this because I'm an obscure motherfucker, but the title of every podcast basically since like episode 15 or something like that has been a song lyric of some sort. So from now on, I think I'm going to start having the outro to the podcast be a clip from whatever song the title of that week's podcast is taken from, which will include the lyric that I have as the title, just because, give a little bit of personality to the end of the show, just as much as we have for the front of the show.
Are you allowed to do that?
If you use this less than 11 seconds, you can use less than 11 seconds, and it's fair play.
I thought it was 30 seconds, but
I thought it was not. I don't think it's a long time, but
I think it has to be less than 30 seconds for it to qualify as fair use.
Okay.
I'll look it up and be absolutely sure. But yeah, that's going to be a thing from now on. So
I like it. I'm in. I approve. Yeah. I am all in. Hint, hint.
I recommend giving 5 stars. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And yeah, that's it.
That's it. As always, thank you for listening. Apologies again for doing it on a Friday instead of a Thursday. Thanks for being versatile enough to hang out with us. We appreciate it. Thanks for choosing to start your weekend by listening to Two Guys, One Sport. For our special guests,
Mike.
that's Chris and Mike. I'm George. Don't work yourself into a shoot. Be nice to each other. And enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a good night, everybody.
Laters.
Episode 57 is in the books.